Did you produce this music yourself?
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. You're with Fresh Black Coffee. We're having it's been a while since we've done this, so Dave and I are getting our sea legs back.
Yeah.
Our land legs, I guess.
Oh, I sabotaged your board. That's what's wrong.
Well, that's a part of it. Yeah, that's a part of it. So, but it's good to be back. I was in California. I guess I'll tell you, our son, our third child, retired from the U.S. Coast Guard.
Big.
After 21 years.
That's the full ride. Yeah.
Well, yeah. And actually he did more because he had a 2-year sabbatical flying for United Airlines. Then during COVID, he decided to go back in. Mm-hmm. And then that added a few, and then 4 years at the academy. So, Lieutenant Commander Huff is requested permission to go ashore. And they granted him permission to go ashore, and he is now ashore. Nice. But he's going from the friendly skies of the United States Coast Guard to the friendly skies of United. So he'll be flying for United Airlines now. But anyway, we had a good time. It's first time in several years all of our kids got together. So
wow,
we had all the kids and grandkids. In fact, I don't know if we talked about. I think I have a newer one. He's 2 years old now.
He's the one in town here.
Right. He's the one here. And so we're walking through the airport, and we're in Denver, and they have those long conveyor belts is what the only thing I can moving sidewalk kind of to speed you. People mover. Thank you. Yeah.
My dad loved those. You just stand on them.
Yeah. Or you can walk slowly, instead of hustling to your. Anyway, so he's walking with his mom hand in hand, and then he sticks his hand out. He takes my hand to walk with him. So the three of us are walking there hand in hand, and our oldest son, he's in the back. I didn't even know this. He has a picture of us, and our grandson, he's the only one. The 2-year-old's the only one that figured and looked back at his dad.
Oh, nice.
So it's a picture of him looking back with the two of us walking this way. And so, but anyway, it was a good time. Good to see all of the kids and grandkids. We were just out there in Southern California for our oldest granddaughter's graduation. She just graduated and broke my heart by choosing Baylor over Texas Tech. So
blasphemy.
Yeah, blasphemy. So anyway,
wait a minute. Oh, it didn't work.
It didn't. Oh, you know why it didn't work?
Huh. There you go.
How dare you?
So anyway, but no, she'll do well. She's like her mother, very, very smart. And in fact, she basically got a full ride. Cheaper for her to go there out of state than it is. Well, Baylor doesn't really do in-state or obviously because it's a private university, but anyway, but it's cheaper than California and even Texas Tech with a legacy scholarship.
Wow.
Yeah, they worked a deal out for her. So I can't complain. Well, it's not my money anyway. But
Rich Baptists.
Those rich Baptists. So I guess if they want you, they'll make it. It's like when my daughter went to Pepperdine and they told us how much. Mm-hmm. Back then, this is what's so funny. Oh. Back then, it was $30,000 a year,
which was huge.
Wow, 30. Wow. Yeah. Well, Pepperdine's are 100,000.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that was back then. And so anyway, but the first thing they had a meeting at Heritage Hall in Oklahoma City.
Oh, yes.
Their version of Holland Hall.
Oh,
but anyway, so the guy who is doing the meeting for prospective students to recruit there in Oklahoma City, he says, here's the price tag that I said, but don't worry about it because if we accept you, we will find the money for you to go.
Yeah.
And sure enough, we get this call from this counselor, and she said, it's real funny because Mr. Huff, this is so-and-so, Pepperdine University, and a financial aid office, and we're doing your daughter's package and and I'm sitting there, okay. And then she starts going through, and I would say, well, I work for XYZ insurance company, and they have, forget that. We have a much better one than that. And so she was poo-pooing all of my, financial investigation and looking into things. And by the time I think when my daughter graduated, after 4 years, her entire student debt was under $6,000.
Wow.
Yeah, and it was $120,000 for 4 years, but that's how. Yeah, so that's the key for you people out there who may be afraid of prices and costs and everything. If a school wants your child, if they want it, they will find the money.
Yeah,
because they're competing all the time to get the best students.
Yeah.
So now Oklahoma has their own deal. Mm-hmm. I can't remember the name. Do you remember?
Promise?
The Promise, Oklahoma Promise Scholarship. So if you're an in-state student, they basically pay all of your tuition. Okay. I mean, with the 2.5, you have to have a 2.5 grade point average.
Yeah.
From junior high, from graduating from high school, 2.5, and they will essentially pay all of your tuition and books.
The key thing is signing up. Tell us about that.
Exactly, because my former administrative assistant here, her daughter, they didn't know about it.
Yeah.
And so, to me, I think it's wrong. I mean, to make them sign up in junior high, it's like the seventh. It's the seventh grade. You probably went through that fight, or did your parents not know about it either?
No. They didn't know about it either. In fact, that's something else that was actually a sore subject with me when I actually went to college, because when I graduated in 2006, 20 years ago, I was actually the last class.
Eddie, we don't have him on.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You want to introduce him?
Oh, yeah. Hey.
Sorry.
Yeah. This is just some guy wandering off the street. He's been sitting here trying to get in on this conversation.
I've been trying to talk, but I guess nobody heard me.
No, I am so sorry.
You know what? It's kind of like real life, though. I mean, because that's exactly what's happening in all elections, all political. The people that want to be heard are actually not being heard at all.
That is true.
So that's the craziest thing.
Right. So let me introduce you.
Yes, sir.
Aaron Bisagno. Or Bisogno, if you're Bisogno.
Yes,
if you're Italian, that's
just
Bisogno. Bisogno. You know, do the fake Italian accent. Yeah,
goes great with pastrami and
prosciutto.
I was going to say
prosciutto.
Prosciutto. There you go.
Salami.
Anyway, Aaron, continue to tell us your story about, and then we'll introduce you more formally.
Sure. No, first of all, thanks for you guys having me on. I mean, I really appreciate being able to talk to anybody, even if we weren't on the radio or on air or on podcasts. It's awesome because connecting with people is really what life is about. Mm-hmm. And you guys know that more than anything.
Yeah. It's hard to do it in this July heat too.
Yeah, no, that's why we're inside. And I mean, I'm glad. I wonder what this podcast would be like if we were outside and like under a tent.
Yes,
4 minutes.
Yeah, I know 4 minutes.
Towels like over here.
Work out all my sweat.
So anyway, continue. Yes. What happened in your situation? We're talking about the Oklahoma Promise Scholarship.
Yeah.
You're not getting it.
Yeah, no. So I didn't even know about it. My parents didn't know about it. I mean, there were 4 kids growing up in my family, and we all had different paths that we took, and it was ingrained upon us to go to college. And I never really was, thought I was going to go to college. I thought that maybe eventually I was going to get some kind of like scholarship for playing sports, but the more my career gone on, my talents kind of went away from me. And so I started applying to schools, and I was going to I went to TCC right off the bat, or a community college, because I didn't know the year after they started the Tulsa Achieves program where they were going to pay for you to go to TCC. I have friends that graduated 1 year after me from other schools, and they actually got in the program, but I was the first one left out. And so I didn't know about any other. And then I did continue going to school, and then I started to realize that it wasn't for me, because like I think a lot of the schooling, it's really good, especially like if you're going into a field that really needs the collegiate acumen and you need to learn certain things. And
the sciences,
yes, exactly. I think everybody that wants to go should go, but like I started to realize that it wasn't for me, and it was better for me to get a full-time job and then learn more about life that way and get more experience that way. And my friend said the same thing, because we originally didn't know what we were going to do. We thought we were going to be like filmmakers. And so we went to school for film, and we kind of just got caught up as like, oh, well, school is actually not only an opportunity in many fields, but like the field that you want to, you can build yourself up. And he realized it right away that it was going to take more than a Herculean effort from you. It was going to take a lot of like sponsorships, a lot of people with money, a lot of different things. And he kind of bailed early. I still continued it because I did believe in it, and I worked really hard, but it came to a point where I couldn't really afford school anymore. And then I ended up, just getting a full-time job and then going down that career path. But
So what career path did you end up taking?
yeah, so I ended up taking financing. That's actually what I'm doing right now. I'm a loan officer at a finance company, and I've actually been doing it for almost 15 years now, advising people, helping them clear their debts, looking at all their budgets, helping them with insurance sales, a bunch of different things that go along with it.
Great.
Yeah.
Do you have an insurance license?
I do. Yeah, I have through the state of Oklahoma. I'm licensed to sell term life insurance.
Okay,
and also, it also covers like annuities and stuff. But my company doesn't carry that.
Term or whole.
Term
it's
or
all
whole,
in
yeah.
the same license.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, term or whole. Yeah, you know better than I. Yeah,
Annuities
I'm
is a bit
studying for it
different.
now.
Oh, you are? No, that's excellent. Because my best friend, his wife, actually just decided to take the test on a whim because she wanted more accreditations and licensing. So she's really smart. She's probably one of the most brilliant businesswomen I've seen before.
Who's this you're doing?
Oh, this is my friend's wife,
okay.
Tanya.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey,
Yeah.
so I just noticed something. Now you got something on your T-shirt here.
Oh yeah.
Is that Uncle Ben or Uncle Tom?
No. That's Shaquille O'Neal.
Oh, that's Shaquille.
Yeah.
Shaquille Oatmeal.
Yeah,
Shaquille Oatmeal.
Yeah.
Shaquille Oatmeal.
Yeah.
Okay. If you can turn a little bit, maybe so people can.
There you go.
Yeah, there you
It
go.
see
shows.
that pretty clear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shaquille Oatmeal. That's
Shaquille
interesting.
Oatmeal,
So,
yeah.
what's the story behind Shaquille Oatmeal?
So, and again, this was ironically, this is my best friend whose wife I was just talking about. He actually gave me this shirt like 5 years ago for Christmas, and he knew I would love it instantly. And he knew the reason why, because he's actually the reason why I was one of my closest friends is we've been talking about I don't want to say political stuff, but we've been on to the government and all the degradation of what's happening in our society the last few years, and how they're pushing like certain items like transgenderism, and then also the division between black and white, and then just almost every possible thing that you could cover.
Mhm.
One of the things that we talked about is like how stupid it was when they pulled Aunt Jemima off the the label, and that really ingrained me, because like first of all, it made me think of like two separate things. Like first of all, I never thought that it was racist, and number two was like that was actually one of my favorite like childhood icons and one of my favorite jokes from Family Guy.
Well, hey, when you're a lineman for
Yeah.
Jinx,
Yeah.
that's just part of your diet.
I know, yeah, pancakes, exactly, yeah, pancakes and syrup, exactly. We had Aunt Jemima growing up, and I always looked at it, and then I her story, like how she was a former slave, and then she ended up cooking, and then she created a label and a business for herself based off of her own hard work.
Oh,
and,
that's right wing capitalism. We can't have that.
yeah, no, we can't. It's
It
too
doesn't
good for
fit
you.
the narrative. that
Yeah,
they're
bad
wanting
role
to
models.
push. Yeah. So anyway, so you're telling me your friend.
Got me this shirt because he knew I would love it, and it was just amazing. And it's just a great play on words, obviously, with a Shaquille and the oatmeal, and then obviously just shoves it right back in your face. It's like, oh, okay, you want to take black people off the label? Well, here's the most loved, arguably one of the most loved American athletes that's ever played sports, Shaquille O'Neal, and he's always ingrained in the community. Everybody says
everywhere.
nice things. He's everywhere. He's in every commercial ever. Exactly. He's always known as a jokester.
Terrence Williams.
Yeah.
From Broken Arrow, orphan kid who's now like friends with Trump. When they pulled the Aunt Jemima line, he started Cousin Terrence's.
Yes, I've seen him. Yeah, Cousin
Yeah.
T's. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
Cousin
been on a couple of national podcasts that I've seen.
We got to get you a Cousin T T-shirt.
I've seen it.
Terrence, if you're out there, free advertising.
Free advertising in the syrup. I mean, I would like to try it to syrup because I've never tried it before.
Well, cool.
Yeah.
So anyway, the reason Aaron is with us today is not to talk about Shaquille.
I mean, I could
Oatmeal.
talher for hours about
I'm
Shaquille
sure
O'Neal, and I've got another one. I didn't wear this other one. You'll love this one too. His brother, my other best friend, his brother gave me another shirt just for my birthday this year. It's got LeBron James on it, but he's got a cinnamon roll head, and it's Cinnabron.
Ooh, there you go.
Cinnabron.
There you go.
See, that's what you need.
Yeah.
Let's talk politics.
Yeah. So you're running for the city council.
Yep.
And what district number is that?
District 2.
District 2, which covers, what does it cover? I think it goes all the way from Jinx, West Tulsa.
Yeah, it's West Tulsa by Tulsa Hills, like West 81st Street, all the way down, I believe, to 23 Southwest Boulevard on the west side of the river. And then it crosses all the way to the east side of the river.
To my crib.
Yeah, to 61st. I think it stops at, I can't remember if it stops at Yale or
Utica, I think.
Utica. and then it goes all the way down to like 101st and Riverside.
You know what? It does go over to Harvard.
Yeah,
that's a large territory. Actually.
Yes.
you gotta win a lot of people over.
Yeah, that's the climb,
totally
sure.
different demographics, because you got affluent people in Jenks and some in West Tulsa, and then you got the uninfluent.
You got the rednecks in West Tulsa,
like you.
The proud. No, I'm.
Oh,
but the proud rednecks. And
yes,
I mean,
the proud rednecks, like my opponent, definitely.
Yeah, and you're in that district.
Yeah,
you live in that district.
I'm in the poor part of the district by 61st and Peoria.
I am now too. Apparently, I mean, it didn't used to be like that. But
61st Peoria used to be an intersection. Now it's a whole region of Tulsa. Yeah.
A friend of mine. You might know him or have come into contact with him. He used to run a gas station at 61st in Peoria. This one right on the corner. It was R&R.
Sure.
R&R Food Store is what it was called.
Okay, yeah.
And that was this friend of mine, one of my clients, and all. Yeah, so,
yeah. It used to be a Circle K.
Yes.
Yeah. Way.
Yes. The R&R. Yeah, it's an R&R gas station now.
Right.
Yeah.
Before, and it was,
that used to be Circle K. I remember.
That was before Quick Trip ran them out of town. Mm-hmm. That's a story in itself. Yeah. But we're here to talk about you today.
Yeah, no.
So, Aaron, you are now running for city council there in District 2.
Yes, sir.
And this is not your first time. Is this your second?
No, this is my fifth, actually.
This is your fifth time running. Oh, and so what is different this time about the prior 4 times?
I don't know if anything is different other than the tone that I hear from people. And when I first started in 2014, I really thought, I was trying to play the game. I wasn't really like taking hard stances on anything. I was just saying, hey, I would just want to improve the community. I was just, wanting to, see if we can make change things, because I didn't think that we were spending the money properly. Then come like 2016 with the Vision 2016 package that was passed. And then 4 years later in COVID, it's just kind of warped everything super speed to where I'm just like, I can't deal with this anymore. I don't understand what's happening. And I've tried to make impacts, because, everybody always tries to help their community. I mean, anybody who, is complaining about it, obviously they've tried to do something. Like with the main thing that people always complain about, my mom included, is that we're just overrun with all the vagrants and all the trash. And you can tell that there's a lot of crime. All the businesses have left. That shopping center that's right across from ORU, that's been there my entire life. There's always been lots of shops in there. I counted it one day. There's 33 storefronts that are closed.
Yeah, it's funny. I drove through there just last week and was shocked.
It's a ghost town.
Empty. Yeah,
it's literally a ghost town. And like I remember my dad had his Blimpies on the tail end of that shopping center, like closer to ORU, where that Alibaba is, the Mediterranean food.
I used to.
I like the
gyros there. I used to buy them there. Yeah.
Yeah, but like that, those 3 stores right there are the only ones in that. And then if you go over, further down, it's like literally only McAllister's, and then also Nordagio's is open, I know for a fact. And then I know they're doing work on the old Zio's building, but every time I pass by there, and all I hear from our representative is that, we've got economic development coming. There's packages coming. People are coming. I mean, and even
no specifics, there's just a pat answer.
I know. And there's like a sign that says spring, now leasing spring of 2026. We're in the middle of the summer right now. Yeah. I don't see anybody leasing. And, and I hate to keep bringing up like other people, but they've mentioned to me, and my mom made a great point the other day too, is that nobody's going to want to move to this area anymore because they know it's bad. I mean, it's gone down. We literally have people living at our bus stations, like that are within a mile radius of our house.
Well, and
we're sandwiched between the 2 major thoroughfares, where our neighborhood is right in between 81st all the way to Riverside and between 71st and Riverside.
Right.
Those are
the fastest growing neighborhood is Joe Creek.
Yes, that's right. That's where our house is, right by Joe Creek.
Joe Creek.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah. There's always been people that have lived under there, because I remember when I was in high school, me and my brother used to take walks along the Riverside, and we would go under there, and there would be maybe just one, like, looks like somebody left their, towel, blanket and stuff here, but just one. Now it's like 30. Mm-hmm. Like, so you can't
have their own homeowner association.
Yeah. I guess they're
a homeless
now.
Association.
Yeah. Well, they have to belong somewhere.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to belong somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is something that area has, but it's not alone. I mean, when I ran 2 years ago, you remember the whole situation off of Mingo.
Right.
Yeah, Mingo between 101st and 111th.
Oh, yeah.
Same you got a holding camp. And then, well, I don't want to go down that road, but it's spread all over town. And we keep hearing these promises of these new homeless residencies. Remember they built the mini homes or mini apartments for them?
Yeah.
Has that happened? Have those been finished yet?
So I think you're talking about West Side, the village. I think it's I can't remember what the village is called, but they were building like houses for homeless there and then moving them in, and then I think they had like certain sections. I don't know if it's completely done yet. I think they are still building units, but I do know that there are people that they've moved in there. I haven't had a chance to take a tour or go talk to them because I really would like to see, because that's one of the things that you'll never see. And obviously I know everybody wants privacy and they want to keep everybody's, information, and we're not asking to get into people's lives, but it is really weird how they can't tell you like, well, which homeless people are they, helping? Like, where did they come from? What were they doing before? How did they become homeless? Because that really is important. And it's not that you don't want to help anybody, but you would like to know, okay, did I just help somebody that stole like everybody's money and was addicted to meth and crack, and now we're just giving them a fresh start? I don't know that. I mean, I don't know what. If you even go on in the Safe Move Tulsa, that's another thing that they're taking money for. There's so many different organizations that the government is working with to try and take money to use this as a process to help homeless people. But there's not really any real information. Just like you said, all they keep saying is just basic flat information. Oh, we're spending X amount of dollars. We hope to complete it by this time. We're way ahead of schedule. That's basically it. Thank you. Have a nice day. That's it.
I think the money is, I think, being eaten up by the people starting these organizations, so-called nonprofit organizations.
You would assume that
somebody's profiting.
You would assume that right away, and it's just so infuriating because they're never going to show you the tally, and they always reference like, oh well, Tulsa can't operate off of a deficit, and they can't operate of a profit. They have to always stay flat. And then, well, you can send everybody online to show your budget all day long, but that doesn't say anything because in those budget, it'll say like 800,000 infrastructure, but it won't tell you exactly like what the infrastructure is for. And then
which brings me to another thing. This is very important because when I was running, one of the things we made a point of, I don't know if you remember, Dave, but was the old State Farm building, which they're turning into this police fire communication center. It was this big communication,
AKA a money pit.
Well, essentially, yeah. But then what happened? They backed out of it because they said it's irredeemable. Condemned it that it's not suitable even for renovation.
Isn't it asbestos?
It was asbestos. There's all kinds of things mold that would need. But then all of a sudden I heard, were you talking about it earlier? That they want a budget now,
$25 million more,
$25 million now,
throwing it
to renovate this building.
And I wonder where that's coming from. The money.
I wonder where it's going to.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, both.
Both are valid points.
It's going to be a bond issue probably, and so you know where that's going to a certain bank in town, and then you've got different other hands in the pot and so forth, and we've got never. I live off of 91st between Mingo and the Memorial.
Oh, yeah. You're in the sweet spot then right there.
Well, yeah. Oh, yeah. Where they're supposedly widening the road. And it's going on 2 years now. 2 years they've been doing this. And it began right after the election. Of course, Lori Dector Wright lives in that area.
They're neighbors.
Are you really? That's crazy.
But she can't.
That must be fun.
But she can't even bring them or get them. I mean, honestly, if I'm living there and I have to get out of our neighborhood every day to this mess, and I would drive 4 out of 5 days a week, there's no one doing anything, or you've got some guys, 4 or 5 Hispanic males out there shooting the breeze, drinking coffee, and I'm thinking, these are your tax dollars not at work.
Well,
and it just drives you nuts. It's inconvenience everyone in the area. It's just sitting there, and the road is going to be an old road by the time they open.
Ready for resurfacing?
Yeah, ready for before they open it. I mean, I don't know what's going on, and it seems there's no oversight. There's no real oversight on this to hold these people to task. That, I mean, honestly, I'm throwing all this stuff out now. I'm not sure if this is city or county. I think it's still city. In fact, I'm sure it is. If you go up Highway 75, 36th Street North, the soccer complex.
Yeah.
We were going to build one at O'Brien Park.
Yeah.
Which is existing
That's
park.
a county park, isn't it?
County park.
County park, yeah.
And it would have it's at 46th or 56th. It's all the way
66.
Or is it 60? So it's way up there. But anyway.
Wow. It's really, really far up.
Yeah.
My son lives there.
But we could have redone that and then develop the whole area where people actually live.
Sure.
But then, no, we're going to build it over here. So they bought somebody's land. It's right across from the dump. The
open air dump?
The open air dump there off of 75.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's right. I mean, the dump's on one side of the street in the soccer complex. It's beautiful soccer complex. You drive by and there's sprinklers going. The lawn is being mowed. The goals are there. Nobody playing soccer.
Yeah.
Really?
Nobody playing soccer. The only people that are utilizing, this is what's funny, is these Hispanic teams.
Yeah.
They'll go out there and you'll see them out there playing, on weekends, playing their games. These are just amateur, pickup games, and these guys go out there, which is great. I don't mind it. But it's just crazy that we spent all that money, supposedly, because the way it was advertised, we're going to bring in these national tournaments, soccer tournaments into Tulsa. And there's no hotels, there's no restaurants, there's nothing in the area.
I know.
Close to it.
No.
So why are you going to bring it in? Oh, and actually it's right across on the other side of 75 is the BMX.
Oh, yeah.
Another thing that they touted, the United States BMX headquarters are right here in Tulsa. I mean, how many people are still into BMX?
I thought the old Driller Stadium was supposed to be a BMX complex.
Apparently not.
Yeah.
No? I don't even know what the old Driller Stadium is used for now. I think it's just mostly soccer, isn't it? For the professional team? Or do they play at One Oak?
Yeah, is that the one? Is it by La Fortune, the old Drillers?
No, it's 16th and Yale.
Oh,
right by the fairgrounds.
It's the fairgrounds.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
No, I remember. Yeah, that's
Which,
county
by
land.
the way, was the greatest. That's where the stadium should have stayed. I mean, because like in downtown, like everything else, it's like, oh, hey, look at the jewel of our city. Instead of putting it where like there's people and like everybody could come and all that stuff. It was such a great area of the town.
It's about who owns the property and who are we going to bail out.
Bingo. That's exactly it. In fact, 2026. It bailed out the property owners downtown.
Yeah.
And if you go downtown now, one of our kids gave us a gift certificate of some restaurant where food's overpriced and not that good. And you walk in and they looked at us like we were aliens or something because it is yuppie kingdom.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Preppy and yuppies. It's unbelievable what has happened to the center of Tulsa. The center of Tulsa is like a foreign land.
Yeah.
You've got all these, and it's these people they've imported the Kaiser money. Kaiser gave $10,000 bonus to anybody that'll move
per year
to
per
Tulsa.
year, like indefinitely, or
I don't know for how long. But
oh, wow.
In fact, I just met somebody who out of state that said, "Oh yeah, a friend of mine moved to Tulsa. They're getting this money." And I
didn't even know about that. They were offering people $10,000 to move to Tulsa.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Kaiser.
Then you could apply for extensions on it. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, but it's like being in a foreign country. If you come from anything south of 31st, and then especially if you go into the suburbs and all, it's a totally, like, to me, the best I've seen as far as true urban planning and renovation and bringing an entertainment district is Broken Arrow.
Yeah.
Main Street and Broken Arrow.
Absolutely.
I mean, we go there all the time. The restaurants, ice cream parlors, you name it. They've got that old train station there.
Oh, yeah.
And everything. And then you've got their theater out there. I mean, those guys. In fact, I was on a flight with the city. They have a city planner. They actually have. We don't have one in Tulsa.
I thought we used to have one though.
We did, but not anymore. And so we have a city. I think we still have city manager. I'm not sure or not. But as far as a planner, we don't have a planner. Well, this guy's whole job was planning. We're sitting on this plane ride from Dallas or Houston somewhere, and nicest guy. And he was just laughing about Tulsa and saying how we do things different. And he said, yeah. And this was before the whole Main Street renovation there, when they were in the process of it all. And I was telling him how the 4-lane roads, all the roads are gone 4-lane, and they're still working on it. And the only negative thing, they still only have one high school. They've got to work on that. They need another high school. But anyway, the difference between Broken Arrow, even if you go to Bixby now, if you've seen Bixby downtown, what they're doing there, have you seen it?
Mm-mm.
It's a whole different. It's going to be very nice.
They've invested Bixby. That's what I've noticed a lot of, because I obviously grew up in the Jenks school district, but like Broken Arrow and Bixby have definitely upped their game on every level.
Well, they stole your coach.
Yeah, I know.
Montgomery.
He was actually my favorite coach when I was in high school. Montgomery. Oh yeah, I'll tell you something that people don't talk about anymore. One of my favorite lines from him is like, he would always teach us like proper technique for pass blocking and run blocking. He's like, man, get your hands to the holsters, put them up. You got to get them up there.
Sounds like guns up.
Oh, here we go.
hey,
but he was a great yeah, no, I was so thrilled when I heard of all of his success. And I mean, I would say that I couldn't believe it, but I can believe it because I knew he was a good coach. But that's incredible that he was able to, like, I think they won 3 in a row, didn't they?
Oh yeah.
Well, Bixby, I think they won the last 10 in a row, even before he got there.
Yeah. Oh,
well, they moved up to 6A.
Yeah.
They were 5A when you were playing.
Yeah. By the way, that is the dumbest thing. I have to go on this quick tangent because like that's the dumbest thing that ever happened. When I was playing, there were 32 teams in 6A, and now it's 6A1, 6A2, and each only has 16. And now there's 2 titles at 6A. No.
And you know what? They call
one
it
title.
They call it
one title,
a state championship. It's club ball with only 16 teams in the club.
I know.
They have like how many long lists? Each one gets to say we're state champions.
Yeah.
And it's club ball.
And I remember somebody telling me from the OSAA or OSSAA, like that they wanted it to mimic it like the NFL, because the NFL had 32 teams. I mean, it was perfect. I mean, you had 4 divisions of 18, or when it was 8. It was 4 divisions of 8 teams instead of 8 divisions of 4. But still, you had. You could always see where the lower teams were, and then when it got time for the playoffs, you knew the top half was definitely going to be there. Now it's just with only 16 teams, like the competition is way less.
And at least have a playoff between the 6A1 and the 6A2.
That's what I was going to say. Make it the Super Bowl. Do the NFL AFL merger.
I really want, because there's 4 teams now. There may be 5 that are super schools.
Yeah,
their enrollment's way higher. Than the rest of them. I mean, if you're like a Stillwater or Pryor or Bartlesville trying to compete with a Broken Arrow has 3 campuses that they could turn into 3 high schools, and all 3 would still be 6A1.
I'm sure they would be. Yeah, with the amount of the student body that they have in there, definitely. Absolutely.
The second biggest by population high school in the nation.
Where's the
Broken
biggest?
Arrow?
I did not know that.
It's New York, something.
Oh, gotcha.
PS number 29.
PS 121.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. They think that if they're going to get that gold trophy in the trophy case, they got to have this huge draw from, because they need 11 players. And they think that the real goal is that piece of plastic with a gold shiny fish. That's a real trophy.
You mean it's not real gold?
It's not.
That's a bummer. They told us it was real. I mean, yeah.
You and your teammates were the trophy. The kids you raise up and develop, they are your trophy. The school district that thinks that it's a piece of plastic has lost their way.
You're absolutely right.
Replaced.
And think of all the kids that could have been developed.
That's it right there. Because if you got 3 high schools, now you can have 33 kids on the field at any one Friday night.
Yeah.
And then you still have a kid come out of McLean.
Yeah.
And end up being
all world
top running back.
Yeah.
In the NFL. I mean,
that's what I was going to say, because like we've definitely churned out like good college prospects and pro players, but like if you look at Jenks, like it's not like a pro or a college factory. I mean, they come from everywhere across the state. There are great players everywhere. I mean, I was fortunate to play with some great players. Who I hope to see tonight, Chase, like Beeler. I know that he went to Stanford and played for Harbaugh, and then got to play in the NFL, I think, for San Francisco, and was on the practice squad.
Yeah, so. and that's exactly what happened in Alabama. Found some tape on this kid from McLean.
Yeah, the coach from McLean sent the tape to what's his name? The
Alabama coach.
Alabama coach. Whose name we can't.
He's retired now. We're allowed to forget his name.
Nick Saban's name. Yeah, that's funny. So, Aaron, back to your because we'll start chasing rabbits.
I know. I mean, I talk to you guys all day long. It's fine.
But so tell us the main priorities that you see for Tulsa, particularly your district.
Gotcha.
What do you see needs to happen there?
Absolutely. And I do apologize if I butcher this, but there's really only one priority for me. We've just got to stop the money flow. We've got to stop the money flow from all these different programs that we're putting to. I think one of the main the main complaint is that nobody really understands where the money is going. Nobody understands like all these corporate interests. Nobody understands like why we're spending $70 million on the Gilcrease Museum to redo it. And then they hide it in like 2016 packages. And then they tell everybody that you voted for it. That's what you voted for. But I didn't vote for it. And then you brought up again, they need $25 million for, they're going to redo the building, or they have
State Farm.
Yeah, they're going to have to redo that. I mean, $25 million, like why do they need that? I mean, that doesn't seem like that's a function of government, especially. And then I know they were just cheering on how they're going to bulldoze those hotels that were dilapidated, 51st and Yale, or 61st, 51st area. And they're going to put a bunch of money on that, and they're going to raise the hotel tax. And so it just seems like at every step of the way, if the government can spend more money, they will. And
that's just it. Stop. They think throw more money at it. If we can, any problem, throw more money at it.
Well, a lot of it, though, I think, is private interests who have their hands in government's pockets. That's, if you really dig deep down, you'll see that it's the construction companies. We used to have 3. I think we're down to 1 or 2 now. Crossland, it seems to be doing, in Manhattan used to be one, and then there was one other, I can't remember the name of the other one.
Becco Construction,
Becco. What happened to there? Are they still around?
They're still around, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
But it's the money going to these other interests. And here's what's funny. Back when I was on KFAQ, the radio with Pat Campbell, the Pat Campbell Show, and Pat was always pushing this, we want our state taxes going to in-state or local companies.
Sure.
The problem with that is, which we're seeing now, is that once you limit who's in the pie, who gets a piece of the pie, they don't work as hard for that piece of the pie. And whereas when you open it up to any company, not just in America, but internationally, for example, when I was in Uganda, I was told their roads were dirt roads, and any asphalt roads had big, giant potholes in them. I went back, wonderful roads, but they're made by Italians. The Roman road, the Italians still make the best highways and roads.
Really?
Yeah.
Still to this day.
Yeah, still to this day.
That's crazy.
That is their thing. They're highway and road builders. And I would say build good roads that are going to last. We keep it our weather because it's hot and cold. If we can put a man on the moon, if we can find all these cures to all these illnesses and do all this technology, surely somebody can figure out a formula of asphalt or road that's not going to blow up when it gets cold and then hot again, cold and hot again.
You just did something incredibly amazing because, and that's what I hope I can bring it back around in a circle to it. But that's exactly what the problem is. They keep feeding you these lines and they keep repeating them. That was whenever I ran not the first time, but the second time, I remember I went to an ODOT meeting that GDQ was leading, and then they were talking about it. And the guy said, well, because of Oklahoma, the weather factors in. And so we have to plan like extra months of periods of time into it because it could be hot one day and cold one day. But you just repeated that. And I hadn't heard anybody say that in years, but that's probably what they tell people. That is probably not the truth, because there are way more, especially in the contiguous U.S., there are way more locations that experience way harsher hot, heat, and cold snaps than we do, and their roads seem to be just fine.
Have you ever noticed if you cross the Red River and you hit the Texas roads?
Yeah.
All of a sudden, quiet,
and
smooth.
I know. I just visited my friend in Dallas just 2 months ago to hang out for the weekend, and like as soon as I cross over, all the highways are nice. They're that perfect gray color. They're not like the cheap black asphalt that they use in here for the micro.
And it gets hot and cold. It gets hot and cold like our weather.
Yeah,
yet for some reason, our weather, the roads can't hold up to it. No.
I want to talk about law enforcement, and you can remain silent if it helps you more politically. So I'm going to be a tack dog on this. I'm planning a neighborhood meeting to have you come speak to our neighborhood. We have a problem with cops no longer doing their job. And it's coming from management, coming from supervisors. We didn't defund the police.
No.
What we did was just tell them, just don't do your job. I have wrecked cars with no engines, cars not even on tires that are left in my neighborhood, and the cops come out and they won't even tag them for towing.
No. On
public streets.
Right.
And cars parked the wrong way, parked right up against a fire hydrant, and they just aren't doing anything. And I think it's coming from City Hall. And I'm beside myself what the heck to do, because I've got a guy running a mechanic shop in my neighborhood, and he admitted he was.
Out of his garage.
Yeah. And really, he built an illegal carport right up against the curb.
Really?
Yes. This is the kind of stuff going on. And nobody's doing anything. And what's happened is it's so demoralized neighborhoods that the whole neighborhood is falling apart.
Oh, yeah. No, that's what happens.
And here's the thing. In Phil Lakin's district, they enforce it.
Oh, yeah.
Because that part of town's deemed worth saving.
My district, they do it.
Yeah.
We had a car park just at a cul-de-sac at the end, and would be there and had loud, it was like a Camaro or something that he built or something. Just would rev it up, but never drive it away. It was always there.
Here's the thing.
Well, let me just finish.
Yeah.
And so this person called. They came out, put the old chalk on the tire, came back the next day to tow it away. Yep. And that person moved out.
Yeah.
Wow.
So here's the thing. I think it started with G.T. Bynum, because he bought that leftist woke whole thing. And Monroe's continuing it. The poor neighborhoods need a break. Don't you see
a break from what?
From the man.
Oh, right.
The oppressive police. We're just deciding in the poor neighborhoods it's okay to break ordinances.
See, that's incredible, because and this is what I'm glad I could talk to you guys, because this is what I constantly been telling people. Just break down the fourth wall, like throw away the facade. The poor areas are the ones that actually need it the most, because they're affected the most by crime. They're the ones that are, hey, I don't have that much stuff, but somebody just came and stole all of my stuff. And there's no, I can't buy new stuff.
In my neighborhood, now, you know, the Avondale apartments south of me.
Yeah.
They have.
That's right by my neighborhood.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why I said.
Yeah.
So they have this little area under a gazebo where everybody's mailbox is a little compartment, put a key in it. They've been broken into every few weeks for the last 3 years.
Wow.
And nobody's doing anything about it. Police, now it started spreading. And now my neighborhood, which has those same collective boxes, was getting broken into. I literally have video of the one across the street from me, the people doing it. It's got their car, everything. I don't have the license plate number, and police wouldn't even take a police report.
Really?
They said, no, that's post office. They enforce that. Now get this. I finally said, I'm filling it out anyway. File it wherever you file. But for me, I'm doing it. So they took my report. 6 months later, I get a call from a police detective. Yeah, about 6 months later. He says, you filed this some time ago. I understand the notes here say that you have video. I said, yeah. Well, could you send that to us? I said, why now? He said, well, a credit card was mailed and then stolen and then used. And I said, oh, really? So now when the banks are the victims, all of a sudden you're interested. But if it's, me or my stuff or, anything, that's okay. You won't even take a report. But as soon as the bank suffers a loss, you see what happened here?
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
And I was furious with them. And this is our Tulsa Police Department. And they're not protecting the little guy. They're protecting the big guy. That's it right there. The rich neighborhoods get enforcement. The poor neighborhoods, well, we got to ease out. Those people have a hard life.
Yeah.
And this is the crap. And now my neighborhood cul-de-sac is a junkyard.
Yeah.
I've got a car that's been sitting there for like 3 years and the police still wouldn't do it.
The car's been sitting there
without an engine.
Without an engine.
Yeah.
Wait, and you said it's on a public street, right? It's not in the neighborhood. It's like in the, wow.
Yeah, the city came by and painted parking spaces there, but still it's,
but
you're on the street.
The car?
Wait a minute. They painted parking spaces
in the cul-de-sac.
In the cul-de-sac of private residences.
The cul-de-sac's public street.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. But everybody around there, all the houses are owned by individuals.
Yeah.
And they painted parking spaces on the street.
The city, Susan Savage is up for re-election.
She
did something.
That's ridiculous. I mean, because you're basically saying this is public parking. When you put a parking space. It's
just like curbside parking.
Yeah.
But we designed the people who built the neighborhood designed it so there would be some guest parking there. Because these are patio homes. Eddie, you've been there. There's like, we're cramped in.
Yeah, but still, you should.
But still, here's the point. City ordinance, it can't be there more than 48 hours.
That's right.
And you can be marked for towing.
It's right.
So if somebody calls, say, hey, it's been here for a week. Okay, we'll put a tag on it and then we'll come back. And if it still hasn't moved, that tag's still there, then we're towing it. My kids' cars, have been towed that way. While we're living there. So, this is the crap. And I'm saying the city of Tulsa has decided that they're going to defund the police enforcement in the poor parts of town. That's a problem.
Yeah.
And it doesn't just end there. Remember when Tim Harris arrested a young couple? It was up in North Tulsa, working class family. One Saturday morning, their kids woke up. It was like June, and they walked a block and a half down to a park, and somebody saw kids unattended. Called the police. Police took the kids away from the parents, and they charged them with child neglect. And Tim Harris enforced it. He said, "That's a dangerous neighborhood." And that's why he did. If the kids had lived a block away from Hunter Park in South Tulsa, they wouldn't have done it. So what do we have? We got two sets of laws. The poor part of town have these extra enforcements on parenting, but the rich folk in the nice part of town, it's okay for their kids to go to the park. I used to spend my whole day down to the park.
Yeah.
As a kid. Yeah. And this is the disparaging part of it. But now Tim Harris went overboard on enforcement. What I'm saying is the cops are just doing the opposite. And I think it happened with the whole Black Lives Matter thing, the defund the police thing.
I think it's just GT and I guess it's his benefactor.
Well, and his white guilt.
I think it's a combination of like everything. I mean, they're all working together. As you guys know, like all the city councilors are like best friends. I don't think there's one city councilor that doesn't have a friend relationship with another city councilor.
It's all groupthink now.
All groups of it. And so it's a groupthink thing. And then and politically, I mean, no matter what they say, like to us as the public, or what they write down, or what they put on the computer, or what they put on a video, they all have like the same opinion of how things should go. They want to use the money, and they want to use the law enforcement as their cudgel to like beat back anybody who doesn't agree with them. And I think that's exactly what you're saying, because they want to say that they're helping the poor people or the poor sections of the area, but they have to, you know, like you mentioned earlier, they have to get in line with their backers. Like if they're getting money from somebody, the corporate interests and the corporate ties are so deep with each other that there's really no difference between the government and corporation.
Well, and there you have it. You've got George Kaiser's money, and this is all George Kaiser.
Yeah, he's had
because again, Kathy Taylor who worked for George Kaiser, right? It was on the board at Bank of Oklahoma when she ran for mayor, and she's been the real mayor during all of GT's term, and now with Monroe's term. Monroe started in government working for Kathy Taylor.
Is she still on the board?
You know, she controls it whether she's got a title or not.
Not right. Because she's so deep.
That's my sense of things.
Well, because she's got money too. So it's
that's who I really think we're up against. That's really what I think it is.
Yeah, that's true. And here's the problem we have between the Republicans in Tulsa and in many major cities. The wealthy in your cities are wealthy off the backs of the poor.
Yeah.
Whereas
you're not supposed to say this.
Well, I'm sorry. I'm saying say it loud. Yeah. No, but anyway, and then the Republicans are usually those that have earned it on their own, working more broadly.
The mom and pops. Yeah.
Well, not just that, but I mean, like in the oil industry, they'll go out, and dig oil or find oil.
They'll take the hard jobs. They'll take the rough jobs.
Right. And work themselves up into
the 20-hour days.
Exactly.
Right. And so you've got, but say George. Okay. George started in the oil business. Kaiser started in the oil business. However, he's moved into the banking business. And if you ever look into how he got a hold of BOK, it's an amazing story. He basically stole the Bank of Oklahoma.
The federal government handed him BOK and money along with it.
Exactly. And but whereas generally you're Republican, because there are some wealthy Republicans. Problem is they stay removed from the poor parts of town because they don't, like you're talking about your area, okay? Where I live, I guarantee you nobody even knows about or thinks about what's going on in West and Western Tulsa or in North Tulsa because we're not faced with it.
Yeah.
Right? And so that's how these people are able to get their power and their money from bamboozling the residents by promising them and telling them that people in South Tulsa and in Broken Arrow all around, they're your enemy.
Yeah.
We're your friend, but we're your friend, although we're going to take 90% of anything that comes in on your behalf. I'm sorry, Aaron, we're stealing your time.
No, that you're fine. I love listening to it.
Well, here's what happened. Why 61st in Peoria?
Yeah.
Is when Roger Randall became mayor. That was right when we switched over to the city council instead of the city manager.
Was that was late 80s, early 90s, right?
Early 90s.
Right.
And then his chief of staff was Susan Savage.
Susan Savage.
So they were hell-bent they're going to clean up Morningstar Comanche Park. 2 projects, apartment complex, North Tulsa. Horrible crime, all kinds of issues. And boy, were they proud of themselves for what they accomplished. All they did was they would evict people and send them down to Fairmont Terrace, 61st in Peoria.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that, but it was success.
Yep.
We cleaned up North Tulsa.
And Fairmont Terrace is still there.
Well, even
wonder how many name changes.
What are the apartments at 81st and Lewis that run behind Victory?
Yeah, that's right by my house. So that's the so those are 2 apartment complexes. There's Foxfire, which is right behind, and then on the end of Foxfire, closer to 71st, it's Pheasant Run, where my dad used to live for a long time.
Well, we had friends.
The lakes.
We had friends in the late 70s, early 80s. That went to ORU, and they those used to be Or are you resident housing
Really?
over there?
Oh, wait a minute.
Apartments?
You're talking at Riverside in 81st.
Yeah, Riverside.
Oh, yeah, that was grad housing.
Yeah, that was the Riverside. Yeah, those are newer apartments, like in the
Case
last 20
took
years.
over them.
Yeah, Case. Yeah.
Right. And everything was nice and cool. And then all of a sudden, I don't know, I guess the students didn't want to live there anymore. A lot of them moved out and have other places. And that place is also contributing a lot to what's going on, the dilapidation or deterioration of the area.
Are you talking about further south, like closer to the casino? Because I think that's that's Riverbend. My dad also lived in those apartments too. Those have been there forever, and they actually rescaled it. They did the gentrification thing and did like a whole new thing. But I have noticed that I don't think a lot of people like actually live there, or if they do, it's definitely low income housing for sure. Yeah.
So it's just a part of the city that is being ignored, and because I believe one of the big factors too is not necessarily the suburbs or anything. It's this whole urban renewal, the center of town.
Urban renewal, yeah.
When we decided on 2025, the original 2025, that we're going to reinvest in the center of Tulsa. Downtown was deader than a doornail.
That's what I've heard from people, because I was a kid when that happened,
Right.
and we didn't really go downtown much for almost anything because there was other
nothing.
And the property owners
you
down
need
there
to.
decided they wanted their money back. They needed their money.
It's
And
the property owners.
It's the property owners down there that did it.
Okay.
And that's when the revitalization happened, starting. So all the focus, all the money has been going into downtown. Now, there's some nice places. They're into that, what they call it, multi-use. There's a certain,
the they repurposed, the old YMCA was the Wylofts, and I don't think they're there anymore. I think they redid the building again.
They probably did, because my
Yeah.
daughter came from California, and we decided, our son, who's a chef in that world, and he took us down there to this place, brand new restaurant, and the bottom floor is restaurant, ice cream shops, different shops. The second floor is offices, and then you got apartments. It's this whole multi-use thing.
Multi-use office building, yeah.
Right.
A
And
lot
so
of
you
New
got
York City buildings are that way.
Yeah. And that's what they're trying to go towards. That's it. They want to turn Tulsa into that type of modern city, planning or whatever. And it's changing everything.
Do you remember the movie Whitney Houston was in called The Preacher's Wife?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The plot of that had to do with a property developer wanting to come in, put a whole bunch of things in the church is right in the middle of what it wants to do.
Yep.
But it was going to change a working class neighborhood, minority neighborhood, into something more posh and everything. And the preacher says, but where are these people going to go?
That was Denzel, wasn't it?
Denzel played the angel.
Oh,
That's right.
It was
Gregory Hines was the preacher, I think.
no, he was a property developer.
He was the property developer?
It might have been Bobby Brown, I think, actually played the preacher in that.
Oh, really?
I'm pretty sure.
Maybe that's where they met.
Anyway,
Right.
but
Okay.
here's the point of that. It's so important to municipal planning here. The YMCA, I remember way back in the 80s that it was one step up from homelessness. You essentially had a little dorm room, and it filled a niche for people down and out, just getting back on their feet, maybe working just a minimum wage job and that. But the YMCA was providing housing. We don't have those kinds of things. We shut down the YMCA because it was a blight on our posh project of revitalization. You have to have a place for those people to live, or they're going to live in Joe Creek subdivision.
Yeah.
This is it. You have to have that thing. Now, I don't believe it's just a matter of housing or throwing money. They're there largely because of a mental health issue, which then translates many times to a substance abuse thing because they're trying to self-medicate their mental health. And unless you go to the core of it, you're wasting your money throwing money just at housing.
Amen. Yeah.
That's really where it's at.
That you bring up some
Here's another big thing.
Yes, sir.
And this, Kevin Stitt, I hope you're listening here. because
he's a big fan of the show.
The Department of Mental Health and Substance Abuse Services was so poorly run for so long. And I mean, I've been at war with them. Steve Coonsweiler's been at war with them. And what happened? Finally, they had to clean house. And you know what the governor did and his team? All of the contractors and people that they are giving grants to, they just shut it all off. And I just got done talking. I was on the board of NAMI, National Alliance of Mental Illness.
Yeah.
They gave us a $30,000 a year grant that just paid for a part-time office manager for us so that our volunteer work, like training cops, helping families stay together and care for each other, that's all gone. And we had Bob Sullivan was in a couple months ago. Remember, Bob? He was on the board as a volunteer of the Clubhouse, which is a place for people with mental health issues, just as a day center for them. All their funding dried up. Department of Mental Health was giving them a grant because they were doing a better job in the private sector as volunteers than what the state could do. But they just cut it all off.
Yeah.
And now we totally defunded and run out all of these nonprofits that were actually doing something. And we in Tulsa and then Oklahoma City, this is why the problem's even worse. We don't have those private sector charities that were getting some help because they could prove to the state they're doing a better job than the state could. And that is part, as any member of the city, you got to raise hell with the state because the state fell down on it.
Yeah.
So I'm blaming them too.
No, I agree. I mean, it's all cyclical because the city government is obviously working with the state. It's more, but I mean, especially since, and I didn't even learn this until the first time I ran, because everybody knows what our sales tax is, but we have to give a portion to it of the state and then a portion to it of the county, and only a portion actually goes to the city. Mm-hmm. And so, I mean, the money that we're going, that's supposedly going to the state to help us with the state roads and all that stuff, that's not being helped either. Mm-hmm. All the infrastructure is just taking a back seat to, just like you guys both mentioned earlier, they're all just pet projects. Like all of the counselors would rather just spend the money on the stuff that's going to get them good pub, good relations with whoever their corporate sponsors are. And they're not actually, that's incredible that you mentioned those people, they were getting grants. Cause like, that's actually the only type of situation that I would want a grant to go to, is like, wait a minute, you're doing a really good job with only $30,000 and you're helping people and you're not asking for a bunch of ridiculous like state funds for like millions of dollars. Just have it. Why can't you use that? I mean, but the grants that they throw nowadays, they just give it to all like weird corporate alignments, like weird sponsorships. The counselors themselves, like they vote on giving each other like resources for their own charities and stuff like that. That's the most ridiculous. Obviously, you guys know about the Vanessa Hall Harper thing, and then what just happened with Lori Dr. Wright, where she sat out for the vote, but then my counselor voted to give her the money anyway for her project. And so it's just stuff like that. It just boggles my mind. That's a huge indicator that even if we did have the money and we agreed to use it on the right thing, if we don't give it to the right people, then it's not going to do any good. Just like you said.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a tough situation. The problem is that I think the gentrification and the so-called urban renewal, bringing in basically all these yuppies from all, Kaiser's funding of all these people at $10,000 a year. That I think is led to where we are. So now you've got this giant voting block. For example, in the last several elections, Republicans and conservatives have won everything in the state except Tulsa, Oklahoma City, Edmond, wherever the university are.
Yeah, population.
Right. And then, of course, it's not. And of course, what do you have with the university? You have the teachers, all of the people that get paid by that. The other thing is your teachers, your public school teachers. I ran here in this district, 11, and
7. You said 11.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
7, 11. Yeah. Anyway, and like from about 61st down to 41st is on this side, right where we are, is where just boatloads of former and current teachers are, retired teachers and everything. And they've got that mentality. And so it's a hard, I'm not the only one. What's his name that running for the state?
Paul Whisloff?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
No, not Whisloff. Paul.
Oh, I'm sorry. Paul Hassing.
Hassing, yeah.
Hassing, yeah.
He's tried it for several years, and it's just like pushing a boulder up a hill. I mean, because these people are so entrenched in thinking that Republicans are their enemy and Democrats are their friends in education and so forth. And the thing I keep trying to get through to people, which is very hard to do, it's getting harder, is that education is not about the teachers. Mm-mm. See, this is the thing. You might actually, it might not go very far in some way, but we've made it about the teachers instead of about the students.
Yeah.
So we have failing schools, but well-paid teachers, and it's still not enough. They want more money, even though the kids are failing more and more.
Yeah.
Did you read my mind? I mean, that's something that I've railed on a lot. And I always want to preface saying, because like there are a bunch of fabulous teachers that I do think that there's so like if they were in like I don't know, professional football or professional sports, they would definitely be paid like higher, like based off of their skill level and talent. But like you're talking about where you're going to work, like the same thing with my job, like somebody who has like same, skill level and, you can do, loans and you have experience. I mean, you're probably going to get the same like hourly salary that I would get based off of your experience. Same thing with teachers. I mean, you guys all go in knowing that you're just, you're educating, and it's not just education. It's important. Just like you said, they think it's about them though. They think they're not being paid enough to deal with your children, which I think is really weird, because I thought like that would just be like no, but like you get the goosebumps, like I get to teach and mold young minds, like, and that's not enough. Like, I mean,
it's
that's
a calling.
It's a calling. It's just like anything else in life. It's a calling. It's something that you wanted to do. Like, I would love to be a teacher. I mean, I've always felt like sometimes I do a much better job teaching somebody to do something than I could do it myself, because you gotta figure out, okay, what do they resonate with? Like what links with them? Like, I think there was a line from a movie where somebody was like, I don't know if I can learn this. Man, it's like, dude, I can teach Japanese to a monkey. I just need a connection. So let's just connect. It's like, and then he started talking about like world wrestling, and he's like, well, just think of world wrestling, like who the Ed McMahon is, like the whatever a historical figure. And then they started talking, and then he ended up passing his test because like he was a really good teacher. But that's what I'm saying. Like you can, and you don't even need like money and resources to teach people. I mean, obviously we always want to have like the best books. We always want to have the best things. We always want to have materials, but you can teach people by just sitting in a field and telling them about things.
Well, I mean, and what should tell you something is when Epic, it was the big Epic
charter schools. Yeah.
And Epic was paying teachers bonuses at the end. The good ones, they were getting paid more than the regular ones. And you had some, I think they were getting up to $100,000 a year.
2 special ed teachers 10 years ago. And this is David and Ben both told me this. The founders of Epic said they're getting 102 and 104,000 a year. And most of it is the stipend they get for each kid who is deemed to have had a successful academic year.
Exactly.
Oh, and they give you like 30 kids that are on your plate that you got to check up on. If all 30 advance, you get your base pay, which they paid like $65,000. Or no, I forget what it was. It was like, it was higher than public schools. And then if all 30 gone, that's 30,000 more stipend on top of that.
That's gross.
Right.
That's really ridiculous.
But it's the way it should be. You pay the people that are doing the job. You don't have people. I remember several years ago, McLean, before it was a academy.
Yeah.
There was they hired a guy to. Thompson was the black superintendent we had for a while. Anyway, and he hired this guy who used to work for PSO.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
And he had retired from PSO, and they convinced him to become the principal. They couldn't call him the principal because he didn't have an education degree, so they called him the CEO.
Yeah,
he was the CEO of McLean High School. So he got in there. He was in there for 2 weeks, and all of a sudden, because of what he was doing for PSO, he realized something's wrong here. You know, you had entire classes where no one got more higher or lower than a C. Everybody in the class got a C. And in other classes, you had them getting A's or B's, but it was not based on what they were actually learning. It was more on who they are and who their parents were.
Oh, my God.
And he was, I mean, and he got into it with the superintendent because, and here's the thing too, the feeder schools, the middle school, Monroe, and there were one or two others up there that fed the kids in there, the elementary and junior high. What they were doing, this sounds terrible, they were purposely keeping them as failing schools.
Yes. Because
they were getting federal grants and money to bring, but the money never went to them. It would go to Memorial, Edison, and these other schools around town instead of going to where they needed. And he actually told me that he realized what they did. They needed to keep these as underperforming schools to keep getting that extra money.
Yep. Yeah.
I mean, some
federal grants.
It's a cash cow. It's the gift that never ends. It never stops giving. You can give it to whoever you want. And the funny thing, those three schools that you mentioned, and I do apologize because I haven't paid close attention since I graduated. But I remember, I mean, I had respect for any school that we played or any other, people that went to schools, because I was just thought, Jinx at the time, because I was a kid, like, okay, everybody's getting a similar education and they should all be respected and everything. When you come to go to those schools, you just mentioned they get all that money. We've been to Memorial plenty of times. They don't use it on their school. They're using it on other things. And same thing with Edison. That's close to our district.
Well, Memorial exists to be a farm club for the Booker T football team.
See, that's hilarious. And that's hilarious in itself too, because like we played Memorial. I'll never forget my sophomore year, the year we won the title. I remember we went there and it was a rainstorm. It was a freak rainstorm. Their locker room flooded, the visiting locker room. We're walking around in 1 foot of water in our cleats, like before the game even started, an hour before. Yeah. And I was like, oh gosh, I didn't realize that it was like this, because that, and not to say that like Jinx is the greatest ever, but like we never had stuff like that happen.
I'll put it this way.
For sure.
If the government pays you to fix a problem, I'm being facetious here.
Yeah.
By all means, do not fix it or they'll defund you. That's exactly that's why they're doing it. Hey, I tell you what, we've really gone over our hour, but here's what I want to do.
Yes, sir.
I've already mentioned I'm going to be holding a neighborhood meeting. My neighborhood. I'm supposedly part of the homeowners association.
You're the CEO.
Yeah, but I'm saying to people now, he's going to explain where his district is, so you confirm whether or not you're part of it. But I'd invite you to reach out to Aaron. I'm talking to the people listening, and put together maybe a Friday night or Sunday night, neighborhood meeting, just down at the intersection of that, and let Aaron come listen to what the biggest needs are in your neighborhood, because he needs that to properly represent. He's going to school and you're his teacher. Okay. And that's what I'd like to see happen.
Absolutely.
Now, how do people reach out to you?
Yeah, they can. The best way to reach me is on Facebook. I'm on it every day. It's automatic. I locked my login, so it just automatically is logged in no matter what. So it'll always be active, and I'll always get a notification when somebody gets.
How did I reach you?
You reached me through Facebook.
I clicked friend request, you responded, and then I hit messenger and make a phone call.
Yeah, absolutely. And I called you back, I think, within an hour or so. I hope.
And then I got your cell phone.
Yes, yes.
Why don't you tell them what that is?
Yes.
In the spelling and all. How to get you on Facebook.
So Facebook, Aaron, Aaron, the middle initial L, as in Lewis, and then Bisagno, B as in boy, ISOGNO. And like I said, you can always get me there. And then if you guys want to reach me by cell phone, it's 918-606-4925. If that's a lot easier than just going online, because I know not everybody likes to use social media. I'm on it to connect with people, to talk to them, because that's the real way it was actually intended, not shoveling propaganda down your throat every day.
I saw what drew me to you is I saw what you posted about the plaza. It's 81st and Lewis.
Oh yeah. By the way, did you see what happened? Did you see the end result of that?
What?
Oh, Friday. I can't remember. It was Friday. No, it was Thursday afternoon. Thursday afternoon. Anthony Archie, my opponent, obviously, posted a video. Literally the same exact spot where I took my video 5 days earlier on a Saturday, because I was just wandering around doing errands, and I was just showing. It's like, you know what? I better just show people what's going on here. And he's like, I don't want to say the whole thing, but like all he did was just say, big things are coming. I know a lot of people have been complaining about the overgrowth at the Crown Plaza hotels. Like, have been complaining. It's been like that for months. And he produces a video then, and he starts saying, like, I've talked to people, high up people. I can't really give you any of the details, but it's coming. In the next few days, it's coming. It's coming. I lost it. I immediately just posted 3 comments in a row. I was like, dude, you totally lied. You're not doing anything. You didn't say anything in this video. And then he has, like, I don't know if I would imagine these are real people. I'm sure it's people that he was in contact with, but you can tell they're kind of like sock puppet. They're not really active on Facebook, but they're always good for a comment. Always like, hey, great job doing things. And they never respond to you. So I almost think that they are kind of sock puppet accounts. And if you are a real person, I do apologize if you really do like.
I'm kind of bummed that there's only 2 of you in this race.
Yeah.
I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
Because it will be decided. The election is August
25th. Tuesday, 25th.
See,
yes, sir.
Eddie, 2 years ago, made it into a runoff, and then it was in November.
Yeah,
there's election.
That's one thing I will change, by the way. We're not doing elections anymore in the summer. That's the dumbest thing in the world.
So, well, and go back to partisan elections.
Yeah,
too.
Yes. So they switched it back. They did just switch it back.
Really?
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
When does that take effect?
That should take effect this election. They just did it right before this past election.
Wow.
They switched it back to where it was.
Well, that should help you.
Yeah.
That'd be huge.
Because the true Republicans, I think, know what's going on.
Okay, let me follow up on that. But here's the thing. If it wasn't in August, I'd be reaching out to the ORU College Republicans, which have done some amazing things. And we'd get you in front of the college Republicans, and we'd get, because they have their issues about safety at 81st and Lewis.
Oh, I know.
Because it's a real issue.
I was just there.
And, you know, neighborhood development, commercial development, those kids need shops within walking distance. You know, so those are ways we can do things, but they've stacked it against you.
Yeah.
You know, so anyway, so August 25th.
August 25th, yes, sir.
And tell us this district. It's basically West Tulsa General.
Right.
But it's creeping more and more into
Southwest Tulsa. Yeah. So basically it's all along Riverside all the way to 101st. And then it just kind of like bottlenecks up right before St. Bernard's Church, like just shy of Harvard. And it goes there. But then it goes even wider, like closer to 80. I'm sorry. It goes up to Harvard at like 81st, all the way to 61st, basically. Yeah. And then it cuts off right at the 61st in Peoria. Like, line. I think that's, if you go south of 61st Street, that's the cutting line, I think, for the District 2. And then it goes straight across the river. And then everything from West 81st Street, Tulsa Hills, all the way to Southwest Boulevard.
Yeah, and I have to apologize. West Tulsa, we haven't talked too much about your issues, and I know you have real issues over there. But
they're the same as across the street.
Right.
Yeah.
But I've just seen the east side of the river become the stepchild for the last 20 years in District 2. Sure. And it's time we change that.
Absolutely.
All right,
Aaron, thanks for coming in.
Hey, thanks for having me. You guys have been excellent. I love talking to people. I mean, as you can see, I just love to talk. So
it's great.
I appreciate it.
All right, going to break.
All right, bless you, man. Take care. And let me see if I can figure out what he has done.
All right.
Hey, we'll be right back. And we'll be back here shortly. Dave is ushering our guest out, and this young man has good ideas. I think whatever you can do to help and support him, especially if you live in that district, I would suggest you do it. And Dave, want to lock the door?
Sure.
Just in case.
Yeah. Any
burglars were to try to come in and interrupt our time together. Hey, yeah. I'm gonna start any new music. We'll just get right back into it.
All right.
Oh, man. Hey, so everybody, again, I think I told you all this, that I was in California at my son's retirement. It's interesting, Northern California versus Southern California. Once you get out of the Los Angeles area, it's beautiful as can be. I mean, it is a beautiful state, and we see why so many people are moving there. But the politics are just horrendous, and the prices, gas, food, you name it, it's just crazy. It's crazy, and I don't understand why people continue to put up with this stuff. For example, the mayoral race in Los Angeles is a perfect example. You had a young man, a former television actor, who had a great campaign, great ads and everything, running against the existing mayor of LA. And he clearly came in second place. There was going to be a runoff. There was a runoff between him and her. Mm-hmm. And of course, what they did, then I don't know, they may still be counting ballots. Mm-hmm. I know it was several weeks after the election, they're still counting ballots. All of a sudden, more and more ballots came in for the third place person.
Oh, yeah.
And that person then forced it into a runoff when they knew that this person did not have a chance against the mayor.
Right.
And it's just sickening. It's just sickening what they get away with out there.
Joe Rogan was just talking, had J.D. Vance in studio, and they talked about this. And Rogan, a former resident of L.A., he was like, this is so corrupt. And they aren't even hiding it.
No, that's what's so crazy.
He says, here's the other thing. They decided they needed yet another tax increase. So that was on the ballot, and it had been soundly defeated until it passed.
With all these late votes.
Yes.
These mail-in votes, right.
And he just says, there's no way the people, I don't care, leftist, Democrat, the people did not pass that tax increase.
So why do they continue to put up with it? That's my question. Where is the tipping point? When do they essentially say enough is enough? Or what's the old saying from that movie, Broadcast News, was it?
Network?
Network, yeah. I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore.
I have to say, let me, just as an analogy, why isn't there an uprising in Iran by the people against the mullahs?
Well, it's because you'll be killed. They're executing people.
Trump said the other night they killed like 50-some thousand dissidents.
Yeah, they did.
That was your revolutionary army that is now dead. Okay? Now, this was an analogy. Let's go to California.
Okay. Wait.
Why isn't there an uprising? Because they all moved to Oklahoma and Texas and other states. That's why.
Yeah, that is true. A lot of people, just so many people fled, people that could have made a difference. I want to go back to the Iranian thing, but the main problem there is that the Revolutionary Guard is armed, mm-hmm. and they have, and let this be a lesson to you people that are against the Second Amendment rights of the right to bear arms. This is how they do it. Only their military and their police, which is run by the government in power, the Ayatollahs, the mullahs and Ayatollahs, and nobody else has guns, so they can't do anything. They can't fight against them.
See, this is the problem with using analogies, because you and I both take the bait and think we changed the subject to what the analogy was about. I was just using Iran as an analogy for California when the people who would have rebelled aren't there anymore.
Right. It's a little different situation. Yeah.
Yeah, they're not in Iran, they're dead. In California, they're in Texas. Yeah. And that's alive. The thing. And I remember 2013, we were at a watch party for mayors. Right? It was Bill Christensen running, and Chris Medlock, when Christensen lost that primary, he said to several of us who worked on it, he said, I don't think we'll ever have a conservative mayor in Tulsa. And he said, because all of the conservatives have moved to the suburbs.
That's a good point. Yeah. But also on top of that, I was at a Tulsa, the executive committee of the party, the Tulsa County Republican Party.
Yep.
And we had a gentleman, I wish I knew who that guy was, and I cannot remember. In any event, he came to one of our meetings and he got up and implored everyone to vociferously go after and against the nonpartisan elections.
Yeah.
Because the nonpartisan elections so badly hurt us. He essentially said, Tulsa will never have another Republican mayor as long as we have nonpartisan elections. Yeah. And he was right. I mean, he's right, because no one really knows now, apparently it's not illegal for them to put Republican on their literature or their posters, as we found out. But still, just your general ignorant masses is the only word I can use for it. Ignorant masses still don't know and don't know the difference, and that's more of our problem. Our uneducated majority out there in the urban cities of America. Even you look at New York City with Mamdani. It's like you shake your head. You wonder what in the heck has happened. How in London, Birmingham, Liverpool, the major cities of England run by Islamists, and we're starting to see it here in America. And until somebody wakes up, someone starts realizing what's going on, we will lose this country. And listen, you may think Oklahoma is immune. We're not immune. We are not immune. You've got your college towns, as we talked about before. You got Norman, Oklahoma City, Tulsa, and Stillwater. Those three have become progressive centers within the state of Oklahoma. Yep. We're saved by the rural Oklahomans, but how long? As these cities grow and grow, and as we talked about too, with people like Kaiser and different organizations paying people, including, I would say, the Chamber of Commerce, helping a progressive mindset infiltrate our cities and our state, it will slowly eat away. In our educational system, that's the worst. We're growing a future of liberal airheads, and there's no other way to say it. But anyway, continuing on the Iranian thought, I was just reading that we've started bombing again. Yep. Yeah, we decided to start.
And Iran announced this morning they have completely disavowed the memorandum of understanding.
Right, exactly.
There is no longer any ceasefire. There's no longer any kind of interim agreement. It's all gone. And you know what? It always was gone, because they were never people whose word could be trusted.
No, exactly. And it kind of bothered me a little bit that DJT, I don't know if he ever believed it or he acted like he did or not. There's two sides to this. I think one of them is, I think he may have been giving them enough rope to hang themselves.
Yeah.
In other words, we're throwing out an olive branch. We're trying to meet you here. We're trying to meet you and let them just come back and poo-poo everything we're trying to do. Okay, you don't want it? Boom, we're going to.
I think there's two things. You and I probably came to the conclusion that Iran's word means nothing, probably sooner than Trump officially decided that. But I think Trump going that route established clearly for every reasonable observer just why Iran can't be trusted.
Yeah.
So he did accomplish that demonstration, right? The downside would be what it did was buy time for Iran, and we don't know what that time allowed them to do.
I'll be honest, I don't think it bought them that much time.
Not that we know of.
Right. No. What I think Iran, the plan really was and still is to get your progressives worldwide to mount their forces against the Republican or the Trump administration. And they're hoping that people will come to their side and aid more and more. In other words, more and more progressives and more radical leftists and all the people who want the destruction of the Western capitalist system will start demonstrating more, give them time to build up and regroup or whatever. But it doesn't help when and maybe that's why Trump did it, because if you remember, all of a sudden we had all these people coming out against Trump and on Iran's side. And I'm not hearing as much of it today as I was a month ago.
You're right.
So because
it's pretty hard to justify what Iran's doing.
It's totally justified. And especially if you put out the fact that they have murdered 50,000 of their citizens just for dissent. Let that be a lesson to you. Let that be a lesson on what will happen if we allow America to become either totally leftist or Islamic.
Well, we're about to get a political windfall, or it's pretty close. Today, Fetterman, the guy who we thought was too nutty to even be a senator, just announced to his fellow Democrats, he lays out a red line or which he will leave the Democrat Party.
Wow.
Yes. He said if they, as a party, adopt an anti-Israel policy, he will leave.
Wow.
Yes.
Well, I think they pretty much adopted that policy. So welcome, Fetterman. That is one of you heard of the 7 wonders of the world. He's the 8th. It's like brain surgery actually fixed him. I think his brain surgery we thought he was out of his mind, but it actually put him into his proper. What's weird though, here's what I don't understand is what has him give such care and devotion to Israel? What? I mean, are there now, being cynical and all that, you have to wonder, is that where his donor base is? Is that where his money is coming from? All of the Jews that live in Pennsylvania, Pittsburgh, Harrisburg, and Philadelphia.
I think Fetterman hired some actually good staff. This is me speculating, who know the political realities of Pennsylvania. And unlike guys like Kelly in Arizona, or any Ossoff or those Georgia Democrats, he's decided I need to stay right where the consensus voting body of Pennsylvania is. And I think he realized, and you know what? I think he's very respected by rural Pennsylvania.
He's respected by a lot of America for the stance he's taking.
He just makes sense.
Yeah.
So many things.
Yeah, the crazy guy makes sense.
Yeah.
It's weird. It is weird. You talk about, it's funny. We're surprised to the good side by him as we were to the downside in some of our Supreme Court nominees
Yeah.
and some of our senators and other Republican elected officials.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Speaking of, moving on in that theme, what about the Maine election?
Yeah.
So that's turned into kind of a...
It looked like the Saturday Night Live opening skit. The big, bulky guy in a dress.
Oh, you're talking about the debate the other
Anita.
night. Yeah.
His name is Anita.
Yeah, and his voice is deeper than mine. I mean, the guy is getting up and he's in a dress. I don't know how the other people kept a straight face, but it seemed like none of them had the tools necessary to be elected to a federal office.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy. It's just crazy. If Maine doesn't keep Susan Collins in office, there's something wrong with those people. That's a state I do not wish to and never will visit, because the only thing Maine has to offer, honestly, is lobster, and we can get some of those in other places. But yeah, it's just crazy what we've seen there, and just in general.
Sorry, I forgot to mute that tab.
Yeah, but anyway, this whole Israel, Middle East, Iranian issue. I'll tell you where Iran has really
wrong. I dead named her. His name is Ashley.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
That's one of those ambiguous names. Remember, like ambiguous Pat, or what is it? Androgynous Pat.
Yes,
on Saturday Night Live.
Yeah, Chris. Jesse.
Yeah, it's getting harder and harder though, because you got Aaron. Aaron can go either way.
Yeah,
and there's several of them. But anyway, where was I before you ripped that out of my mind? We were talking about the Middle East. Yeah, the Houthis have gotten involved again now, and they're kind of like the henchmen for Iran. I believe Iran's military is pretty devastated. And so now the Houthis, which are from Yemen, and they are now entering the fray. And they're using the Houthis to attack the ships. And honestly, I don't think people care enough about the Houthis for them to be doing this, because all we have to do is send a couple of B-2s and you wipe out 80% of the country right there. And so, but anyway, the Houthi rebels are now a proxy army military for the Iranians.
The Iranians have had three main ones: Hamas in southern Israel, Gaza, right? Hezbollah in Lebanon, and the Houthis down in Yemen.
Yeah.
Those are really their three satellite.
Right. But what's crazy to me, what I don't understand, if Iran is trying to win over friends, they're going about it in a strange way with rocket attacks now,
right, on
Oman, Jordan. I mean, not Oman, Jordan. What are the others? They're south of Qatar. Man, I had it before we went on the air.
Well, Emirates, Bahrain, Qatar, Saudi Arabia is there. Yeah, and Emirates.
Yeah.
Dubai is right there at the peak.
Right. Yeah, that's up there. Yeah, I don't think they're worried about
and Kuwait, Dubai, way out west.
Yeah, that's right. They have attacked Kuwait.
Yeah,
it's all the countries around. They did attack Qatar a while back, but this latest one, they kind of skipped Qatar and have gone after. I guess the UAE is down there. The UAE and Kuwait, UAE, and what else is down there? South.
Oman and Yemen have that southern edge.
Okay, so it is Oman. I was correct. You know why I was throwing? Because I was thinking Oman, Jordan.
Oman,
yeah. Oman, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what. So it was Oman and UAE have been attacked by by the Iranians. So I don't know if the Iranians are doing themselves any favors attacking their neighbors like that, because a lot of their neighbors, I think, were kind of anti-American and Islamic, and they're just not doing themselves any
Oman,
favors.
of all of those little, different emirates, Emir just means prince. Of all of those, Oman was probably the least Western friendly in my mind. Whereas United Arab Emirates, Dubai, Bahrain, Qatar have all become very much, they like their relationships with the West.
As well as Saudi Arabia.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And the thing about Saudi Arabia is, do they actually make their young men fight for the country, or do they just
hire mercenaries?
I mean, they let us have our bases there, thinking, American Air Force will protect us. Yeah. And I think Trump is kind of, he's being a little bit catty, where he's not, volunteering us to fight their battles for them.
Mm-hmm. He doesn't really have to, because when you have one enemy, or if you add the Houthis to it, two enemies, but Houthis is not that big of a deal as Iran, then we, in essence, are fighting for those other countries over there. And I think a big part of it is you have the Shiites and the, what are the other one? The
Ba'ath. No, well, the Ba'ath is a party.
No, right. It's the Houthi, I'm not Houthi, the Shiites and the, what can I think? The Shiites are they are a sect of Islam. Right. And they're the ones that have Iran and Iraq. That was the Shiites. And then the other Muslims are Saudi Arabia, pretty much. Yeah. And I cannot think of the name of what those. But anyway, it's kind of a crazy. World politics has gotten very, very complicated these days to know who's, and you almost can't trust anybody. Yeah. And what Saudi Arabia has going, they do have one pipeline. They finally started piping oil out of the Arabian Gulf. Sunni versus Shia. Thank you. Okay. Yep. Is they're piping across land, so that now the big tankers can just come in about the middle of the Red Sea, kind of halfway between Israel and Yemen, and they can load up there. Right. Well, they're working on that pipeline. They have part of it going. It's just not the capacity they want. They need to now just lay a parallel line next to what they got. That, I mean, really, Iran, I don't know what they're doing. They're kind of dumb and stupid, because once that gets done, then people won't even have to go through the Strait of Hormuz anymore. They'll be able to get their oil further west. Remember what started all this uprising about 6-7 years ago was this deal that Netanyahu announced. Their partnership with the Saudis to build a pipeline going through the Middle East into Europe. So Saudis would then have a way to pipe their oil all the way to Turkey. Yeah. And that's when the uprising happened. Hezbollah and Hamas and everything, they could not allow that partnership between the Jews and Israelis. So I had heard that the only country that is completely reliant on that Gulf to transport oil is Iran itself. They don't have other means to get their oil out. Everybody else has either their own or deals made to transport. Mm-hmm. What's happening, and now there's a chokehold. Some oil's coming out, but not as much as we'd like to see. But is that bad for the United States? Because right now, our oil looks like a steal. Yeah, and one of the brilliant moves of Trump's was in liberating Venezuela, because now the Venezuelan oil will be that much more beneficial to everybody that at least the Western Hemisphere can get their oil from the U.S. in there, and then Europe can get some of that. But then if we bypass the Straits of Hormuz and it's not the Dead Sea, but the Red Sea, it's the other one. What is it? What sea is that over there? Anyway, the European nations will be able to bypass Iran totally and get their...
Especially now with the Mediterranean, you've got Nigeria, Niger, and Algeria working together to pipe gas all the way up Africa and go under the Mediterranean and serve. That becomes an alternative to Russian natural gas to supply Europe.
Right.
And that's going to be a game changer.
Yeah, it's interesting because then what you're doing, you're actually hurting 3 nations that are anti-Western. Iran, of course, is forefront, but China and Russia too.
Yeah, China suffers greatly because they made themselves so dependent on Iranian oil. The other thing, and I just read an article about a week ago that says the nation of Venezuela is being run from Marco Rubio's office at the State Department. I mean, we just have amazing cooperation with them. And, Trump's whole deal is, look, you guys should be a wealthy country. You used to be.
Yeah, they were.
And remember, that was the same spin he gave to the North Korean dictator.
Well, yeah, you remember Citgo.
Yeah.
Venezuelan company. And when Maduro took over.
The jobs in Tulsa were huge from Citgo.
Citgo, one of the head guy of Citgo here in Tulsa, his son played soccer with my son at Union.
Oh, there were a lot of jobs at Citgo in Tulsa.
And this kid, when Maduro took over, they couldn't go home. Of course, he, and they sold Citgo to I can't remember what the name of that. It's not around anymore. The company that it was here for a while.
Occidental, I think, became Citgo. Occidental's been involved in everything, but it was Helmerich and Payne. It was a Parker Drilling that developed much of the Venezuelan oil fields. In fact, it was one young family homeschooled their kids because they had to go work down there. And those kids really got into music and wrote a song called Bop.
Oh, yeah.
Those kids literally lived in Venezuela for a time while they were learning to be musicians. Hansons, yeah. Yeah, they worked for Helmerich and Payne.
Wow, I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Huh. What a small world. Stuff. It seems like everything in the end all works together and relates to
so I think, if you're in the oil business in the United States, if you're not making money, you're not a good businessman because you should be. And I think what it's hurting, sadly, those Arabian Gulf nations that's all they got.
Yeah, but that's why help is on the way by the new pipeline being run. And once you remove Iran as their supply, and can substitute it with
Emirates has another pipeline. Now, keep in mind, Emirates is right there. That horn of
Arabia.
Well, it's the Straits of Hormuz. It's this point that comes up from the south. Right. So there's a pipeline going right across that, so you don't have to go into the
Red Sea.
No, it's literally from the upper Arabian Gulf to the lower. It's just
going down so they don't have to go through the strait.
It's only maybe 100 miles long, but it bypasses the straits. So that then the tankers aren't having to go way up and through here.
Right.
It's going to, now the cost of shipping is going to go way down, and you're not got a troll sitting there with the toll bridge, or collecting, his money to the Iranians to let you pass.
Right.
So yeah, that's kind of where it is. By the way, Trump had the new prime minister or president, whoever the leader of Iraq in. And he's speaking great things about Iraq is finally getting on their own 2 feet and not becoming yet another shadow holding of the Iranians. Because the Iranians were very influential in Iraq.
Yeah.
And so it sounds like that's just yet another part of Trump established. He's trying to really prop up the independence and pro-Western alliance between an independent Iraq, and the United States and Western.
By the way, going back to Saudi Arabia, one of my favorite movies, if you've never seen this movie, it's called The Kingdom. Have you ever seen it?
No.
Believe it or not, Jamie Foxx is the star in it.
Okay.
But what it's about the FBI being sent into Saudi Arabia after a terrorist attack on an Aramco oil facility. Okay. Aramco is Arab American oil company. That's what Aramco. And it's funny because if you look at the World Cup games on the sides, on those boards,
big advertiser.
It has Aramco all across it. It changes, but Aramco is a big one, big advertiser at the World Cup. And but the beginning of the movie is what I'm really getting at. It's a great movie. I love the movie, but in the beginning, before it ever starts, it gives you a whole history of Aramco.
Really?
Yeah, of how it got started and how it developed.
Yeah.
And then it takes you into the story, and it's one of the Aramco facilities where I in the late 70s, early 80s, you could, as an American, and a couple of friends of mine did it, and you would go over and you would work for I think it's 3 months, then you get 30 days off to fly home. But this was in 78, 79, up until about 85. Anyway, these guys were making like $300,000 a year working in the oil fields in Saudi Arabia, and it was all tax-free money.
Wow.
300 grand in the 80s, just the early 80s, late 70s, early 80s, 300 grand each person is making this. And then you get to come home for a whole month, but then you go back and you work 7 days a week. I mean, it wasn't easy. It was hard work. But this one friend of mine did it, bought his home, bought his car, paid off all the bill, everything, he did it for 2 years.
Yeah.
And, but man.
Yeah, if you're a single guy.
Well, no, he was married.
Oh, really?
Kids. Yeah.
I mean, no, was it just dad that went over there?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was
yeah,
just
exactly.
Him. Right. But like I said, he would come home every 3 months, but he'd spend a whole month at home.
Oh, yeah.
And then he goes back again.
Yeah. It's kind of tough.
Yeah.
Especially when your kids get a little older, you're missing all their soccer games and stuff.
Well, his were still young at the time. So.
Yeah, that's what I said, when they're toddlers and stuff. But, a couple of things on that. When the big oil field was discovered 20 years ago in western North Dakota, they had no housing available. And a couple of my nephews, they, brought them out there, to bid on building housing. They couldn't build them.
They were staying teepees.
They literally stayed in the basement of a farmhouse while they were out there discussing it. They had bunks set up, whoever had this farmhouse, because there was just no place for anybody. Right. And there was a certain quota they'd have to meet. And these guys, my nephews, didn't think they could meet that quota, so they backed out. It's high pressure. But what the companies were doing is you come in and work 2 weeks, 14 days straight, and then you're gone for 10 or 14 days. They did not, you stayed in their housing, which was probably trailers, but it was that desperate because there was just so much money to be made. Yeah. We need the people, but when they're not working, we don't want them occupying one of the beds. So it's go home.
Yeah, right.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
Now, the Aramco thing is interesting because it was right on the tails of that OPEC oil embargo of 74? Aramco started this PR thing in the United States to kind of rebuild this sense of partnership. And one of my high school social studies teachers said, hey, sign up for this magazine Aramco put out. Something almost as nice as National Geographic, but it was devoted to the culture of the Arabs. It was a beautiful magazine. It was free, you know. And that's how I learned about Aramco.
Yeah, like I said, if you want to see a good movie, interesting movie, it's called The Kingdom, and Jamie Foxx is in it.
Was it Saudi money put up the production for that movie? I'll bet you.
I don't think so. Because it's kind of, you'd have to see it. It's an interesting movie about terrorists and the FBI going over investigating what they had to do with culturally and deal with this and battling that whole thing. And I get goosebumps in a way thinking about it because I think it was a very, very well done movie. I think they could have made it longer and done more films like that.
I don't know if there's a better actor alive today than Jamie Foxx.
Really?
Did you see him in The Soloist where he played a schizophrenic man?
No, I didn't see
Blows my mind.
Really?
You got to see it.
Okay.
The Soloist.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, let's wrap today up with FIFA.
Well,
and the World Cup.
I think we can do that. I want to start with the Americans.
Okay.
How do you think they did?
I think they were doing all right, but still not ready for prime time. They're still not quite ready. And a part of it, I'll tell you what, a part of it is that everybody was making such a big deal. I think they may have let it go to their heads. They may have thought, as the Bible says, do not think more haughtily of yourself than you ought. Okay. I think they may have thought of themselves a bit haughtily.
Yeah.
And so I don't think they're quite ready. And it's funny because none of the big guys actually, performed in that final game.
Yeah.
It just didn't.
It was the worst
Belgium.
performance I've seen, that game against Belgium.
Yeah.
And I think the decision to reinstate a red card, which I agree should never have been a red card.
Right.
There's just so many things wrong with the way soccer's officiated governed. But I think it motivated Belgium.
Yeah, but it made me mad. The Belgium coach should have just left his mouth shut, and you can protest quietly behind the scenes. Honestly, I think the Belgian coach is just a left-wing Belgian.
I'm telling you,
actor.
what is your job as a coach? At that point, it's motivating your team.
No, but yeah.
And sometimes you motivate and say, we're getting screwed. We're not respected. Those kinds of things can rile a team up.
Yeah, but Belgium had nothing to do with it.
I understand that.
So
it doesn't matter. My job is motivating my team. And it's like, they don't respect you. I thought that was an amazing job by the Belgian team against the United States. They owned them.
Well, you could see it that way, or you could see it was an amazingly poor job of the American team.
That too.
And that's what I think it was.
But look what happened the next game. Belgium got spanked.
Yeah, that's because they weren't that good. And in America, see, here's what happened. That's why I'm thinking, to me, the major factor is Americans getting too big ahead, thinking, oh, we've arrived, we're here. Because if you look at Pulisic, and then you look at the black kid who's actually British or African or something, who's the big score, the one with the red card.
Yeah.
Okay. Neither one of them did anything. The performance was, I was so impressed earlier by U.S.'s passing and ball movement, thinking, wow, man, they've really, this Argentinian coach they have has really taught them how to pass. I mean, beautiful, everything. They get in the Belgian game, balls are going everywhere. They're over kicking, under kicking, getting intercepted. And I'm thinking, what in the heck happened to you in the last week? Like I said, I think they, in their minds, they quit. See, when they got in, they had a chip on their shoulder. Yeah. They wanted to fight hard. All of a sudden, America loves us. We're the darlings and da-da-da. and all of a sudden they let down on their drive.
I just say the best game Belgium played, the whole thing, was against the United States.
Yeah,
and then the next game they looked crappy.
Well, yeah, but again, is them looking like the best game they ever had because they played better, that much better, or because we played that poorly? And they still only won.
Belgium, that game, Belgium played so aggressive and with such finesse.
Yeah, and we didn't. I mean, most of
the game, the ball was down near the U.S. goalie.
Yes, because we kept giving it away.
Yeah.
We kept giving it away.
Okay, so it's the dynamics of a whole bunch of things. All of these games you're seeing here now in the round of 16, all of them, the game could have gone either way. They're that closely contested, except the USA-Belgium one.
Well,
that was that was just.
Well, yeah, it was a debacle. Yeah, we just didn't show up. Yeah. But here's the other thing. That's the big news right now is the whole red card thing.
Yeah.
That same red card.
Yeah.
And there have been so many, you can see the video over and over that, and what's really bad now is on YouTube, you're starting to see all of these anti-Messi videos because they're showing that Messi just gets passes on this stuff. They show, like, for example, the red card that the American got. He was going for the ball, and the guy cut in front of him as the guy is running, and he hit him on his ankle, on his foot or ankle. It wasn't you could tell the guy wasn't even looking at him. The guy, he was going after the ball. Here comes the guy as the guy's taking a step, and he ends up, his foot comes down, and the guy gives him a red card. There's a video of Messi in the game just before that, where the guy's running, and he purposely, you can see the guy's in front of him, he runs and sticks his foot into his calf, and he gets a yellow card. Then there's a case where guys arguing with the refs, that's a yellow or a red card.
For arguing?
For arguing with the ref. Yeah, you can't get in his face. And you're not supposed, if you touch it, boom, you're gone. Okay.
And that should be.
Well, when it shows Messi running up, grabbing the guy and putting his finger in the referee's face, and he just tells him, go away.
Because that's Messi.
Well, yeah, exactly.
I know. Sometimes when you're the superstar, the legend, you get by with things.
Yeah.
You shouldn't, but you do.
Right. But it just shows. So I think people I think what really started turning people against him definitely was the Saudi Arabia game. Okay. Because Saudi Arabia actually outplayed them, and it should have been a tie. But there were several. In fact, that was the case where Messi should have been thrown out. That was the game where he should have been thrown out. And then I think they did give a card to one of the Saudi players. Yeah. And so again, like I said, there's a lot of Argentinian hate right now.
I liked the style of the Norway team. I thought they were fun to watch.
Yeah, everybody. Yeah.
They were fun to watch,
especially Holland. The big Viking.
And then he just had that Viking look.
Their rowing thing.
Yeah, that's a cool thing.
But they're the ones who started that clap.
Yeah.
That was in the last one or two ago, and then now we're doing it in the football stadiums.
Oh, the Vikings, yeah, of course.
Well, not just the Vikings, other players.
Yeah, I know, but the Vikings have been doing it for 15 years now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, before? Oh, I didn't know that.
At the beginning of the game, they got that big horn they blow. Yeah, it's a big deal for the home games of Vikings.
But now I'm waiting for everybody to start doing this rowing thing.
The stadium is meant to look like a Norwegian boat. At Minnesota Vikings play at U.S. Bank Stadium.
Okay. Oh, I've never.
Yeah, it's meant to look like a boat flipped upside down. Yeah.
Huh. Well, this crosses a couple of boundaries here, but it's still soccer related. The final is supposed to be being played in New York.
Yeah, East Rutherford, right across the river.
Right, Jersey, actually. Yeah. Where but now Canadian fires.
Yep.
There's a big smoke problem.
Yep.
And it's come all the way down.
Yeah.
And so they have wanted to move it. Mm-hmm. Take it. I think they should.
Canada's blaming the United States for it. Global warming, don't you know, cause that fire. They can't put it out.
Well, yeah. Well, here's what's so weird. Well, let me finish my thought. So anyway, but the head of FIFA and them, they've decided they're going to leave it in East Rutherford. They're going to leave it in Jersey.
Yeah, we'll see.
But anyway, well, it's only a few hours away.
It's a good thing that it rained last night. It cleaned the air quite a bit.
Yeah, that is good. But anyway, getting back to the whose fault it is or whatever, it's funny how Canada, which is supposed to have all this clean air and all of the environmentally friendly issues, are where the fires are.
Yep.
And it's the same thing as with the California fires. You know what the deal is.
They don't clear the underbrush.
They don't clear the underbrush.
Yeah.
And it's just a jungle and a spark moment.
Yellowstone 20 some years ago had the same thing happen 25 years ago. Even longer. And they wouldn't clear. And they had this very mature forest and it all went up. And the environmentalists there with Yellowstone said, this is actually a good thing for Yellowstone to have some young growth.
Right.
Because like the deer population in a mature forest, like Minnesota didn't have much deer back 200 years ago. They had a lot of moose. You clear out the big forest, the logging companies that came in, and you got seedlings there. The deer love that. The moose need the big forest. So every time you make a habitat less conducive to one species, you make it more conducive for another species. That just happens.
Thank you, Dr. Van Risingham.
Yeah, but this is why you do, this is good husbandry, if you will. It reminds me a lot of the Palisades fires in LA of a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Because
that's another
it's
issue.
the radical environmentalists out there. It's the Sierra Club that controls the state. And much of the suffering is because of a bunch of wealthy donors to Sierra Club, and in Canada, they're doing this. Now, another thing J.D. Vance brought out the other night, he was on Joe Rogan's show, and he says, look, they can't pump the water fast enough. They don't have the right equipment to fight the forest fires. Look, they're cash strapped in Canada, poorly managed, and they're blaming our climate change policies for this. And Trump is saying, you know what, we're going to keep track of this, and the damages to the United States, we're going to assess in tariffs.
Yeah, they should. If our courts don't stop us, they keep sticking their noses into.
Remember when Chernobyl had that meltdown, and the other nations of Europe, they suffered. They said, hey, you're responsible. Now, did they get anything out of Soviet Union? No, but we all agreed Soviet Union's responsible for the environmental damages to neighboring nations. It's their job to take care of their country.
So do you think they will try to exact anything out of Canada?
Trump said tariffs.
To pay back for the pollution.
Yeah, he didn't spell it out. He just said the word tariffs. Well, they don't like that word.
No, they don't. Canadians especially, they hate Trump.
Yeah.
Here's a little tidbit here. This battleground Democrat, he's running as a Democrat, and I can't remember, New Mexico. He's a Democrat in New Mexico. Okay. Anyway, he's a vulnerable Democrat seeking re-election in a district he repeatedly complained that outdoor recreation has long been dominated by white males.
Okay.
I almost said white whales, but white males, and called for equitable access to those spaces, according to Unearthed podcast appearances by Fox News. His name is Gabriel Vasquez.
Okay.
Gabe Vasquez, a Democrat from New Mexico, who previously referred to New Mexico as stolen land. He praised national conservation organizations during a June 2020 appearance on the Mountain and Prairie podcast for adopting what he described as a more equitable policy aimed at expanding access to outdoors for people of color. So in other words, this is so stupid. He thinks that because white people tend to go to recreational areas and facilities and so forth, it's white people's fault. So what he's going to do now is cut off the access to these facilities, whether it be parks, outdoor, tennis courts and other facilities. He's going to cut off access to Anglo-Saxons.
That's not racist.
I mean, the stupidity of some of these people and the stupidity of people that actually support this kind of stuff. You know, the voters, anybody that voted, and this is a sitting congressman. He's not he's the incumbent. He's not running for the office. He's already there, and he comes up with this kind of idiotic.
What's that guy's name? The former mayor of Gary, Indiana, that was the transportation secretary, gay guy.
Buttigieg.
So he comes to Tulsa, and he wants to tear down the interdispersal loop because it's racist, because it cut off access from the black neighborhoods to the north. And by making it too small for their double-decker bus, I don't know. But the funny thing is, I pulled up a map of downtown Tulsa before they put the interdispersal loop in. And all of the streets feeding into downtown from the north, they made bridges, underpasses, and they cut off a whole bunch of them to the south and east and west. Those are the ones that got cut off. And the only thing they left access undisturbed was to the north. Mm-hmm. And Buttigieg is just lying.
Yeah.
But you ask any North Tulsa Democrat, they believe it.
Yeah, sure they do.
Because it fits their template.
Right.
Yeah, we're abused. It's racism. And it's not. No. But what he's trying to do is basically, this is a racist thing that he's going to favor people of certain ethnicities. And it can't be allowed to stand.
Yeah.
And they have no shame about it. They're the biggest racists. So, hey, let's finish up on the FIFA thing.
Yeah.
So who do you think we got? The big rivalry, France and England for third place.
Yeah, that's tonight.
4:00, I guess it comes on, so it's not too far away. What do you think? Do you think England's got the edge on that?
Well, I don't know. I'm rooting for the French.
Yeah. Okay.
Even though they don't like us, I still root for their team. And I am rooting against Argentina. Well, I've been my pecking order is Portugal, France, Spain. And the reason I don't say U.S. is because, like I said before, I don't think we're there yet. We're not in the conversation.
We're not.
Okay? We're not in the conversation. So believe it or not, I also don't root for Germany, since I'm half German. But those are the countries that I just enjoy watching them play.
Yeah.
And Germany surprised me that they were eliminated. The bad thing about Germany being eliminated, Germany now probably has 4 or 5 black starters on the German teams, and I can just hear them. Damn nigga.
Yeah.
That it's those black players' fault. We didn't have this problem when we had an all-white team. Mm-hmm. So it's just a different mentality. I don't know. So, but no. So I'm pulling for Spain in the final.
Okay. Wow, we're probably on opposite sides on every one of those.
Oh, okay.
I do.
Why are you for England and why are you for Argentina?
I think you might say I'm a Western Hemisphere guy. I want to see more than just Europe dominating.
Well, wait a minute. But England's not in the Western Hemisphere.
No, but you got 2 European teams there.
Right.
When I watched England play Mexico in Mexico City and beat them, I was rooting for them there.
So you're anti-Mexican.
I just like what I saw.
I see. Okay.
And they just like, wow, they are the real deal. And, kind of sucks to.
I'll tell you what bothers me about Southern American teams.
Mm-hmm.
Middle, what do you call them? Central America and South American teams. The flopping, the diving. It just got out of hand. And finally, in the second round, I guess somebody had a talk with the officials that maybe it's because Americans hate that kind of stuff. But all of a sudden, you see guys falling down and rolling.
Let's talk about that.
And the referees play on. And these guys will be laying there, and all of a sudden, an attack, and they stay laying there. They're one man down. All of a sudden, you see these injured guys rolling like they're half dead, jump up, start running again. Yeah. And that's what the game needs. Because the European teams, if you know
what?
For the referees to basically not call them.
Yes.
Call these fake, fake injuries or whatever.
Yeah.
And because you can tell, I mean, you'll know when a guy's really hurt, you'll know. They start waving to their bench. Mm-hmm. They'll do this or this.
Yeah.
They say, "Get me out of here. I'm hurt."
Yeah.
Then they'll do it. But this diving is just ridiculous. It's gotten out of hand. And so the European teams, you'll notice Spain, Portugal, France, England, although even in the Eastern Europe, definitely don't do it. So it just makes me sick when I see it. Here, the Central American team and South American teams do that.
Yeah.
And this is the first tournament I've seen where the refs aren't putting up with it.
Yeah. So let's just take some other sports
It helps the game.
to comparison to make my point. You don't have to be against boxing to be a UFC fan. You can be a fan of both, right? Mm-hmm. You can enjoy cricket and baseball. You don't have to put one down in order to support the other.
Right.
You don't have to be against American football to support European football.
Right.
But I say that to say this. If anything turns me off to FIFA, it's the pathetic, juvenile acting crap. You don't see that in American football.
No.
It just.
One reason is because you have to come out.
Well, yeah. And here's the thing. What I don't like is this separate panel of people up in some studio that can stop the play 5 minutes later and say, we just reviewed an incident that was not called on the field and we watched it in slow motion. And look, there are things that are going to look worse in slow motion than in real time. Mm-hmm. And you can freeze frame and all kinds of stuff. And look, I think the refs are correct that if they're going to call it, it'll be less than 1 second after that they call. When they see it, they know it.
I think that's why I would say 10 seconds. I'd give them 10
I wouldn't
seconds.
say, no, I wouldn't. Max 3.
3 what, seconds?
3 seconds.
No, you can't do it that way.
Do what?
You can't question a call 3 seconds after it happens.
No, I'm not saying question. I'm saying a ref has to decide within 3 seconds max whether he just saw a violation.
Well,
and needs to call.
Okay, yeah, but here's the deal. Okay, the reason they don't do it. Okay, and this is the soccer. It's been a soccer rule forever. If I'm on offense and I'm going down and you foul me, but my team has the ball and they're going.
That's a good point.
For the goal. That's when they hold it and wait. Yeah. Then when the play is broken up or nothing, then they can say, bring it back. Because you don't want to give both ways. You don't want to take away the advantage that the team has.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you don't want to give the advantage then to the other team.
You're right.
So
because anytime you stop play on a fast break, you're allowing everybody to get set up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's why that is like that.
Yeah. I think, well, let me put it this way.
Okay.
Internally, a good officiating is you're going to make up your decision on what you just saw within a couple of seconds.
Yeah, and the referees have. In fact, here's like, offsides. Okay, when somebody's offsides, the guy is just supposed to throw up their flag. But they don't do it until the play's over. Then they put up the flag. Now, that's kind of infuriating
Well,
to
that's
me.
the sideline people. And they don't have whistles, do they?
No, but when the referee sees it, everything stops, and then they will call it. And when you see that, it means somebody was offsides. They'll let them play through, even though they saw the offsides when it occurred. And then if the guy scores, that's what's so frustrating. That's what really makes everybody's excited. Your team scored, and then you look over, and here's this guy puts up his flag after the score instead of doing it. Like if you go out to any of these little league soccer, little kickers games, or any youth soccer, they instantly put up the flag saying it's offside.
And now that is subject to video review, and that's one I do like video review.
Right. But only if a goal is scored, right? And they'll take the goal away, which they did several times in this
I
tournament.
know. Yeah. It's tough. Generally my review, this is the most I've watched soccer in years. And it's, I don't like that acting works and gets rewarded, and that's why they keep doing it. As much as they train them to pass and to bobble and headers, and they teach them how to pretend that they're injured.
Right. Yeah. But that's what this tournament, first time I've ever seen it, where the refs are ignoring it. Okay. Where they're just playing on, and you got a guy laying there, and he's laying there for like 15 seconds. People playing, and what you'll see is as soon as it gets past half midfield or start towards the penalty box, they're up and getting back into the game. And that is one of the best things I've seen in this tournament. That and I don't know if it's because we're in America, in the United States, and Americans hate that, like you said.
Is there, I believe there is, what was a game the other night where a guy faked an injury and they penalized him for an obvious fake?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. They can actually throw you out of the game for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Depends on where it happens and when it happens.
Yeah. No, this was one, it was towards the end. It was getting really tight. I think it was the England game where, and it is
Argentina.
It might have been. And and the guy pretended that he got tripped. And the video clearly shows there was no contact made.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And
here's the thing about that. Here's what's interesting about that is if that guy gets a yellow card in this game, he gets a red card.
Okay, talk about that. Would you like to see that change? Shouldn't it just be you're out for the game like in basketball? An ejection from that game?
I don't know. No, because it's like we do with what they call them, the bad hit, when you hit a guy head to head.
That's a football thing.
And they throw you out and you got to sit out.
If it's a second half violation.
The first half of the next game.
Right.
And that's kind of how this yellow card situation is.
No, it's not.
What do you mean, no, it's not?
It doesn't. If it happens more than halfway through, then you're out a game and a half. I think you're out all of the next game.
No, it's two halves. No. In football, if you do it in the second half, you're out the first half.
I understand that. But this one, the American that got the red card, he was out that game and was completely out for the next game.
Yeah.
So it's a game plus.
Oh, yeah. A red card is.
Yeah.
A red card. I'm talking about yellow. You're talking about yellow cards.
Well, yellow card, you don't sit out.
No, but what I'm saying is if he gets another yellow card in this game, he's out.
Oh, okay.
2 yellow cards in
successive games
is a red card.
That's just, I think every game should start out a clean slate.
Yeah, well, That's the rules. But I think they do that because if not, you would get these guys given cheap shot, and I got away with it. I'm going to do it again the next game. So this way it puts them on their toes to make sure you don't get a yellow card.
What we saw in the Argentina game, again, 88 minutes in, and they're losing. They're shut out. And those last 10 minutes when everybody's dogging it and you got subs in and that, those are the minutes that are the most crucial.
Yeah.
You get a red card then, that 8 minutes made,
Well, and you know what factors into this too is the old England-Argentinian.
Oh, the Falkland War thing.
Yeah. I saw articles on that.
Yeah.
That they still hold that against England.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of...
See, that was back when Great Britain actually had a navy.
Yeah.
And I remember Margaret Thatcher says, "This is war. We'll see you in 2 weeks." When they could get their ships together,
Yeah. So, Argentina, they have that new president that is very, the Trump of Argentina.
Yeah.
I can't remember his name right now, but anyway.
It's Javier something or something.
Yeah. Millet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Chairman Millet.
Sounds like a Frenchman.
Yeah. Who's a good guy, but still. Oh, here's the other thing. Argentina, I think they better hope they win the World Cup. Or maybe it's better if they don't, because all of a sudden the eyes are on them and with new scrutiny. I don't know if you probably noticed that Argentina, they have no black players in their starting 11.
Okay.
I think they have one on the bench.
Okay.
And people are wondering, well, wait a minute. Their neighbor, Brazil, is all black.
Yeah.
Or predominantly black.
A Portuguese colony.
All of the other countries around have black players.
Can't help that.
Okay. Well, yeah, you can't. But it goes deeper. What I'm saying, all of a sudden what's come out now is the fact that Argentina specifically had policies to drive all the former slaves and people that were there out of their country.
Okay.
They purposely turned it into a white nation.
Okay.
And so, but nobody knew this, but if you study the history, it showed, and I always wondered, why was it the Nazi haven for all the Nazis that fled Germany after World War II? You remember Eichmann, they got him there, and then people always thought,
Argentina had a treaty with Germany.
Right. But one reason for that is because they were following their policies.
Okay.
So anyway, I'm just telling,
right.
We report, you decide.
But what bothers me is you look at the faces of all these teams and they all look so multicultural. And you're like, really? Has the whole world turned into this? I guess Europe has.
Yeah, Europe. Yeah. I was shocked. Even Germany, the number of black players they have.
If I see a Moroccan team, I'm likely to see a lot of North African Arabs. That's just kind of the deal.
Yeah.
But even Norway, a lot of Africans, right? Because it's that EU forced migration.
I think I only saw one or two.
Okay.
And they were mixed.
Yeah.
There were no Africans on the Norwegian team.
Okay. But you have to say, does Argentina have any Aztecs?
Well,
who's making?
Of course, they have Aztecs. They're all
on that team. I don't know what the
are there still Aztecs in Argentina? I mean, if it's like, say, does OU have any Creek or Osage on the team?
Yeah.
Well, obviously, if they're from one of the tribes of Oklahoma,
but it's kind of like when the press asked George H.W. Bush, would you appoint a homosexual to a cabinet post? And he said, how would I know? That's not.
He would know today. because they'd be flaunting it.
Yes, but unless they decide to put it in your face, it's none of my business.
Yes, that's true. But when I show up, I obviously let you know that I'm black. I mean, that's kind of a silly argument.
That's true of that, but I'm saying about a homosexual. Okay.
Well, wait a minute. You're jumping all over the place.
I'm sticking with what it is. Okay. Whatever ethnicity of South American, because there were all kinds of tribes, or take North American Indians. Right. There's all kinds of, and it's like, how would you know?
Right. See, there's a different, it's like, okay, where in Africa did my people come from? And where did Jesse Jackson or so-and-so? Was it Ghana? Was it Nigeria? We don't know.
Right.
But it's a whole different thing when you take an entire race, a black race, and you don't have any of them, or you had an all black team and you don't have any white people. Right. It's a little more obvious than what tribe or.
Right. But see, what bothers me, or could bother me if I let it, is if, black football players make up more than 20% of the NFL when they're less than 12% of the population.
Well, try 77%.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
I purposely lowballed it.
Why? Just tell them what it is.
Because I wanted you to say what you said as a comeback. I want you to make my point for me.
Yeah. No, I have a problem. I have a problem with the NBA. 90% is black. Okay. Now, a lot of people say, well, they just run faster and jump higher, or and they're not wearing PF flyers.
White men can't jump. That's not racist.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's a little bit of a different situation than a country that has essentially performed social genocide.
Okay.
To where they eventually basically have driven all the black.
I know. But you know what? It sounds like sore losers to me, because the social genocide has happened in just about every culture. How far back you want to go? Because we're going back generations to point the finger at Argentina.
No, we're not going back generations. We're going back into the last century. We're going back to the 20th century, which is just...
That's generations. Every 20 years.
If you go all the way back to, but in today's world, it's just kind of weird. See, it's one thing which... It's funny because I feel weird about this, because I'm a kind of shooting at my own self. Take England, okay? Yeah. England has imported all of these Africans in. Germany has done it now.
Africans and Arabs.
And all that, right.
Syria, a whole bunch of Syrians.
Right. And so you end up with, an all-black team or a predominantly black team. England's not. They still got their white representation pretty good. But some of them that it's been a thing where it's almost been forced. And, like the NFL is like that. You look at the NFL. Now you can say, well, there's just better athletes. Are there no fast white kids, fast white kids or good white kids that can shoot a basketball or whatever? Are there really that few? Or are you have you allowed the league to become, controlled by race because of what may have happened in the past? So what I'm saying, so I take the opposite position here in America with the NBA, the NFL, whatever, especially when these guys are all millionaires and yet black people complaining about how a brother can't get a break.
Yeah, I know. Spoiled brats.
Right. But when you look at a true situation where it really did happen, where they truly did basically banish black people like rats off of a ship, that's a little different thing. And the team, and you're in South America, surrounded, every team, every country around you is replete with black players. Yeah. But you kept, now, there may be some, I mean, honestly, I don't care if a nation wants to be, I went to South Africa under apartheid, right? I think I may have told you. Yeah. And I say, if you want to be that way, the only thing that bothered me about South Africa is that you're on a continent which is 98%, 99% Black or African, and these Dutch and British have come in and deposed them, you see? Yep. And if it had been naturally, the political environment and the whole apartheid thing in the 50s, 40s actually, it's artificial is what I'm saying. It's artificial. I don't mind, for example, I don't care if Sweden stays white. I don't care if Norway, all of Scandinavia, you go down to Germany or whatever, France, but because they have artificially now changed the whole culture. Yeah. And to me, honestly, the bottom line is really, it's not race, it's about culture. It's the culture. Yeah. And a lot of the damage being done to England, being done in France. And in France, actually, you know what the biggest problem in France is? North Africans. Moroccans and Algerians. Holland, it's Moroccans.
Former French colonies.
Right, former French colonies. And these people come in. I might have told you I was driving through Amsterdam one day. This is in the 80s. And picked up some Moroccan kids hitchhiking. Yep. And because I was Black, they were really open with me about how they despise the Dutch. And they're in these Dutch schools, and they hate being in these Dutch schools, and they pretend to like them, you know, but they're playing a game. They were basically telling me that they hate the Dutch and that they can't wait to grow up and they want to take over or whatever, you know. And I'm sitting there driving and thinking, and I had to pick these guys up, you know. Yeah. It just made me mad, really. And after a while, you know, I let them know where I was at and let them out. But this is what's going on. That is committing genocide, I guess, in a sense. You're killing yourself. The Dutch people, the Europeans that are bringing all of these foreigners in and bending the rule. England is the worst. Yeah. With did you see how many 11 mayors of 11 of the top cities in England right now are Muslim mayors? Yeah, Eddie, it's crystallized in my mind what this is. You remember watching the movie Social Network about the story? I'm mad as hell. Social Network. Okay. Yeah, it's about Facebook. Right. You remember the Zuckerberg, business partner of Zuckerberg, the Brazilian guy. Right. The thing that... You know, he fled the country. Okay. And went to Indonesia. I mean, no, Singapore. But anyway, go ahead. Just thought I'd throw that in there. But go ahead. So what happened to him in the boardroom that turned that into a lawsuit, because that whole thing was about how did this happen, is the board of Facebook passed this deal in his absence that devalued his stock and then like tripled the value of everybody else's stock. Yeah. And it was theft. Yeah. But by resolution of the board. And that's why he sued. And at the end, the court found in his favor and Zuckerberg owed him tons of money. Yeah. Okay. That's my analogy to what's happened in England and so many other places. Everybody who's a citizen has a share of the nation. And what you do by flooding in all these immigrants and the people have no say. You deplete the shares. Is you basically, just devalued their shares. And it's theft. It is.
And this is the problem. And
it's happening in America.
Literally, Minnesota, they dumped in
Somalia.
the college. Yeah, the college that I went to when I was 18. In that town of at that time was like 50,000. And then eventually it got up to about 65. And they brought 15,000 Somalis into a small college town.
And they breed like rabbits. No.
And then Governor Dayton, a trust fund baby, the Dayton Hudson Corporation, Target stores, all those, it's his family, okay? Wealthy, he bought the governorship, okay? And he comes up there and he tells the people of St. Cloud, ethnically very German, very Catholic, says, if you don't like it, you leave. Now he's saying, give up your stockholder shares and give it all to them. And that's essentially it is theft of a nation through this unwarranted migration. I think the people who have stock should have more say in what they allow in.
You're right. I agree. Totally.
And they should choose to grant shares, citizenship, to people that they find value them. Eddie, I always thought that there was a rule. If you came here, whether it was on a visa or green card or anything, you were specifically excluded from any social programs, welfare programs.
That was the rule.
And it changed.
Well, did it really? Or are they just bending it?
They're finding other ways, and I think USAID was a big part of it because the massive, massive wealth that went through Lutheran Social Services and Catholic Charities. And I'm not attacking the Pope or your favorite synod of the Lutherans. I'm saying these are arms that use the Lutheran name, just like Ascension Hospitals uses St. John's for marketing purposes. They want you to think they're a bunch of nuns taking a vow of poverty to care for the sick, like, Mother Teresa. Ascension St. John's, and I could go after all of them, St. Anthony's, any of them. They keep it in place for marketing. But what I'm saying is with Lutheran Social Services, look, Eddie, all of these people not only had a nice apartment or set up, they weren't working. They had driver's license and cars.
Yeah.
Cars.
Yeah.
And the Americans could not sign up for the social programs to get them that car.
I know. That's one of the problems.
My nephew, big Trump supporter. Actually, he's my great nephew. And going to all the Trump rallies and that. Christian young man. He signs up for this Christian dating app. And one day he's with his mom and dad way up in the Canadian border, helping them with some property they got, just cleaning up. He pulls up his app. I'm like, wow, I picked a 500-mile range. And now all of a sudden, there's more hot chicks. Well, they're Canadians. And he sees this gal from Winnipeg. And they're married, have a kid. But getting her to the United States,
the
Biden administration came after him with everything to stop him. And you think, God, they're letting everybody in at the southern border. Why are they being so hard?
Well, they were letting them in at the northern border if you were from one of these underrepresented.
There you go, Eddie. They weren't the right kind of immigrants.
Exactly.
Why? Because you can see all kinds of pictures of my nephew at Trump rallies.
Yeah. Well, and what really bothers me is that you talk about genocide. Mm-hmm. Is there a word for genocide?
Oh, yeah.
In other words, you've got these guilt-ridden white people that are buying into a faulty narrative.
Yeah.
And they're the ones who are perpetrating this.
Right.
They're the ones who are doing it. Now, some are doing it for selfish reasons because they're getting rich from that.
Yeah.
These agencies you're talking about that are making money hand over fist from the immigrant community and all the benefits and so forth.
Okay, your granddaughter is getting ready to go to Baylor.
Mm-hmm.
I would bet you that she's going to get hit with this white guilt, even though she's a very small part black.
She's an octoroon.
Okay. But it's because it's at the ORU campus. I've got kids, just got friends, my kids' friends, totally come out of ORU, totally woke, and buying all this garbage in white guilt. And now it's not a class, much less a prerequisite class. It's just built into every syllabus on every subject. And and it's enlightenment, don't you?
You know who's been writing these curricula? Muslims.
Wow.
Yeah, there was a thing several years ago in Texas. They came in and they looked at all these the people who were writing the curriculum, and they found out that it was Muslims that are rewriting these history books. Yeah. So they went in and cleaned house in Texas to get a lot of that out. But the universities are still super, super liberal. I mean, now, Baylor, I don't know, it's a Baptist, so we don't know how bad the infection has been able to infect.
It used to be really bad. And then
at Baylor, at the Baptist University?
Was it Bill Moyers is a Baylor grad?
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah. And he decried this fundamentalist takeover of Baylor. The Southern Baptists finally realized it, and they decided they're going to crack down on their universities that they're funding. And and there was a big tug of war.
Oh, but that's like the reverse.
Yeah, I know. But it was an outrage that these fundamentalists would try to make this into a religious university.
So they basically, in reaction to that, it's become more liberal.
Right. I mean, Emory University in Georgia was just as radical left wing.
Oh, SMU.
Yes.
Southern Methodist.
Yeah. And so the Methodists have totally lost. I mean, look, the Methodists have lost everything. They don't even know what they believe and who they are, and
they forgot what the method is.
Yeah. It's crazy. One of the Asbury planted a church in Midtown called Cornerstone. And then when this big split happened, they gave every local church autonomy. And Cornerstone decided to join the Anglicans. And I said to a friend who was part of planting that church, I said, John Wesley be rolling over his grave to see one of his great grandkids go back to the Anglicans,
But wait a minute. Isn't the Anglican the more conservative one versus the Episcopal?
Let me put it this way. Generally, in generic terms, the Church of England was the Anglican Church. Now, I know there's different organizations.
One is like considered, they call it the High Church.
I understand. Yeah. Church of England and that. But nonetheless, going back to a liturgical process of church, and because the Wesley brothers had put that off. And then to see people going back. By the way, George Carlin had a great video, and I saw a clip of it the other day, and I think I really want to hear your reaction to just a small part of it. And because he says, first of all, I say black because most black people prefer
to be called black.
He says, I don't call them people of color. It's dishonest because it means the same thing as colored people, which is an insult. If you're not willing to say colored people, you should not say people of color. Besides, to me, the whole idea of color is a bit specious because, I mean, what should we call a white people? People of no color? Isn't pink a color? And he says, in fact, white people are not really white because they're all different shades of pink and olive and beige. In other words, they're colored. And black people are rarely black. I see mostly various shades of brown. And in some light-skinned black people are a little lighter than the darkest white, say, person from India. A lot of them are a lot darker than Africans, you know? And he says, now, I don't say African Americans because I find it cumbersome and confusing. Which part of Africa are we talking about? Egypt part? Because Egypt is in Africa, but Egypt's they don't think they're black. You know, they're like the people of India. People of India are referred to as white people, even though they're not white. You know, and then he says, as an American citizen, if a guy's from South Africa, he says, should he call himself an African American if no other reason than just to bother black people? And what about a black person born in South Africa who becomes an American citizen? Is he an African American, or is he a South African American, or is he simply a South African American African American? You know, it's just so much more tedious. Liberal labeling, you know, labeling liberals should be taught that labels divide people, and I think we could probably do better with fewer labels. And let's see, I'm reading a transcript, and it's not that great. But he also says that, he says, I know an Indian, for instance, is not, it says, I know that an Indian, that word probably does not derive from Columbus. Columbus did not believe that he had reached India. In 1492, India was called Hindustan. He says, more likely, the word derives from Columbus' description of the people he found there. He was an Italian, and he says he spoke very poor Spanish, and his written accounts, he called the Indians una gente en Deus, which means people of God. Indios. Yes, call them people of God. And it became Indian. And so he was really just referring to them as people of God. Columbus was stridently anti-slavery himself. And and he says, it's a perfectly noble thing, and I think we can't justify this awkward phrase, Native American. First of all, they're not natives. They came here from Asia over the Bering Land Bridge. In fact, there are no natives anywhere in the world. Everyone is from somewhere else. All people are refugees, immigrants, and aliens. There are no natives anywhere. So anyway, check it out. George Carlin on Race on YouTube. It's a great...
I had a seminary professor who studied anthropology, and he told us that the only thing, this was in the 70s, and he told me the only pure race, or the purest race on earth, the only one, was Japan.
Oh, Japan.
Yeah. And that's because it's an island.
Yes.
But he said that was the only truly closest to a pure race you might have. Now, I believe if you went into the South Pacific on some of those islands, you might find some as well. Whatever kind of, natives.
Very remote. There's some Filipino islands that live very primitive.
Right.
In fact, there was an ORU student who was killed off the islands in the Indian Ocean off of Africa, and he was, trying to witness them for Christ, and they're like, "We don't want you here," and he kept pursuing, and they killed him.
Like what's the name? Jim Elliott and that crew.
Yeah. So, if a people want to say no, this land is for our people, and we want to keep it that way. Didn't Hungary basically for the last 20 years fight against the European Union on immigration?
Well, yeah, and they won't let any of these immigrants in.
Exactly. Why? Because the people there are all stockholders, and they don't want their stock devalued.
Yeah, but see, here's the funny thing that I learned. Okay, Germans, for example, the neo-Nazis in Germany, okay, they don't care what color you are. How do you identify? See, they don't have Afro-German. They don't want that crap that we have, African American, right? And so if, for example, you'll see Africans on the news or African descendants,
Yeah.
But they speak fluent German. They're all German, and they
want to be a German.
They want to be a German. What they don't want is people that want to bring their culture
exactly
here
and take over your land.
Exact their culture upon the Germans.
That's it.
And that's when I figured that out and learned that, then I realized that we've got this whole thing wrong. But the left is using it because the left sole purpose on earth right now is to destabilize Western culture.
To take down
the established culture. Let's put it that way. What the establishment.
Yeah.
And they want to do that by disrupting the culture of America.
Yeah.
Okay. Or Europe, Germany, Switzerland, Sweden. Switzerland, if you look at Switzerland, all the black players they had on their team. And as a country, but there's a way of doing it, but doing it right. And so where America is making its, bringing about its downfall. See, if America would just have worked as hard to integrate their former slaves that they had into society and culture and kept all these others out, we'd all be farther ahead because we would have been able to elevate the black communities with the money that we're giving them if it's done in the right way and not spend it all on all these immigrants that were just flooding in willy-nilly, no vetting, no nothing, just we're going to bring them in. It's purely, if you look at it, it's purely to destabilize the culture of Western civilization.
This brings us right back to FIFA. One of the most impressive things that I saw at FIFA was when they sang the national anthems and those players full-throated, screaming, yelling their national anthem. Those people loved their country.
Except for the Americans.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There were some others where I thought, okay, where's his mind at? But
well, his that might have been, he probably doesn't know the national anthem. That's probably.
Yeah.
I mean, you got this black Czechoslovakian or whatever team you may have, and he may just literally not know it. He's just a good soccer player that happens to have immigrated. His family immigrated.
Well, our controversial red card guy that got reinstated. I mean, I'm sorry. He's from England.
I know. That's the weird thing, that he's actually a British citizen.
Steve Bannon really didn't like the fact that they overturned this. He said, this guy's not an American. Okay. He's not one of our players.
Right. So Steve was against overturning the red card just because. So if he had been one of ours, it would have been okay.
No, he was. It wasn't for the technicalities of the ruling in that. He says, why do we go after these people? Why are we hiring mercenaries from Europe to make up our team?
Because we want to win at any cost.
Exactly.
That's what it is.
And, if you want it to be a nation that represents your people, get your people to learn how to play the sport.
Well, even Christian Pulisic, he actually learned to play soccer at that level in England. When he was 16 years old, his dad sent him to England.
And that's fine.
He played in a club there.
I mean, look, I have no problem with, kids from America going to Cambridge and, be Rhodes Scholars or whatever. Right. That's fine. But they grew up here. They're amongst us.
And they're American.
It's where their culture is.
No, I agree.
It's what they identify at. So anyway, when I saw the George Carlin thing, I thought he just surmised it so well. I wanted you to.
We have just crossed the 3-hour mark. I think we need to pull a plug.
Yeah, we do.
Okay.
So next week, is it next week you have Marty Quinn in? I know we've got Marty coming up.
Yeah,
sometime.
He wanted to wait closer to the election.
But you want Marty in before we have Bob Sullivan back in, right?
No, Marty wants to be last.
Oh, so you're flipping him?
No, I'm not flipping anything. I haven't given a date to.
Oh, you haven't. Okay. No, so they're on our list. We just don't have dates secured.
Right. And we should try to get a couple of the others.
For other races. We really should. I wish we had been more alert when we had James Taylor over at the Republican Men's Club. We should have come in and done a special thing on that one.
Yeah, I was out of town, or I would have. In fact, I think I spoke with his. I did. I need to follow up. I spoke with his representative about setting it up.
Yeah,
I think we can still do it. I think we can still do that. And as far as the gubernatorial, I think we should do that. I don't think that. What's his name is going to come in? Mike Mazie would probably come back in.
You know, I gave the offer to Gentner's people.
Oh, you did to Gentner.
I saw them the day he filed. I was at the Capitol with him and Stephanie Alexander's campaign, and I know her and her husband. So look, you know.
No, I don't feel bad about it. If you don't want to come in, I'm not going to beg you to come in.
But, you know, you've known Mike and his family for some time. And if you want, Mike, if you want to come in, come on in. I really would like to see.
We've had him in before. And
very early.
Right, very early.
Very
and now
early.
To reevaluate things from where he is now.
And so there's that. Marty Quinn does have a little bit of controversy because of him living in Arkansas.
Arkansas, right. Yeah, that's a new thing.
And there's people who feel like the spirit of the law in our in our state constitution.
Now, was he living there, or did he just set up an agency there?
A homestead exemption on his house.
Well, then
car registered in Arkansas.
Okay, I'm sorry, but yeah.
I mean, and Gentner fought this thing, and I supported Gentner in it when he went after Mike Hunter, who was our acting attorney general, running for his own term and living in D.C., but he kept his voter registration here. And the Attorney General's office gave a ruling, Mike's Attorney General's office, that as long as your voter registration is there, as far as the election board is concerned, that's where you reside. That's your residence. You know, and I'm sorry, the spirit of the founders' language is not being followed.
Right. No.
And so I'm saying, look, the precedent now is, because our attorney general, for very selfish reasons, made that ruling, and the election board followed. That was like 10 years ago. It's still Gentner fighting that still was worth doing just for the exposure so that people know this. The same thing happened here. Remember, Superintendent of Public Instruction, Adam Pugh, I don't believe should have been able to run because the Constitution didn't allow it. Now, he got the Supreme Court to rule the way he wanted, but he suffered. He came in 5th place. I thought for sure he was going to be a favorite in the race, but it did damage. Kunzweiler fought a guy who should not have been able to. Yeah, okay. And
Dave's on a whole new vein here.
And Kunzweiler lost that thing, but his opponent said, I couldn't do any fundraising while I had that lawsuit against me. People weren't going to invest in me. So anyway, all right. So next week, same time, same place.
Yep.
Good.
And if you will check your emails or check the website for freshblack.coffee, you will notice that we will try to put a notice up on who we're having in ahead of time.
That would be good. We need to do that better.
Yeah. All right, you guys. Hey, God bless everybody. Enjoy your week. And I have got to figure out our exit music here.
Kate Bush.
Okay, there she is. Yeah. It says Hill here.
Yeah, running up that hill.
Not Bush. It says Hill.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Talk to you later. Have a great week. Bye.
Right?